All right, what's going on, guys? Another episode of the G Pod today, episode 3. We're going to be discussing Catch and Flow 2023 recap, best players in the world, and other recent events. I'm here today with Zack, of course, but we've also got Isaac Turner from Lotus Kendamas, longtime veteran in the Kendama game, probably one of the most well-known players on the internet right now, and the maker of Kendamanomics, a new app that just gives you pretty much a lot of Kendama tricks, Kendama homework to try, test, and upload, accumulate points, and see how you stack up against the rest of the world. Isaac, how's it going, man?
Good, man. I'm excited. I'm finally on the G Pod. Stoked,
Let's
dude.
go. Finally on. It's been
Finally,
episode 3.
after 3 weeks, 2 weeks of its existence. Hey, Nick, you forgot to throw in that he's a Lotus Kenama owner.
Yeah,
No, I said that. I literally
no,
said
you
that
didn't.
first.
You did not say
He
that.
didn't. He didn't say it. He didn't say it.
I didn't say it.
He didn't say
I thought that
it.
was like the first thing I said.
No, it's okay.
No.
Did I not say it? All right. Well,
No.
I failed there. Cool.
Isaac, real quick, when did you found Lotus Kenamas?
2019. Our first event was NACO 2019.
Awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
It's been. I
And
feel like you
now
guys
you've
have been
got
going on for a
years.
while, but it's already been 4 years.
Yeah,
Like
I
I
know.
said,
2019
it's
seems
going
so
pretty
recent,
quick,
but then
but
yeah, it's been 4 years. So yeah.
yeah.
And now
Yeah.
you've got players coming out with you to Catch and Flow. Now you've got
hmm
players in Japan.
Yeah, I know. Maharu, Goya. Yeah, we got a great team. It's been great.
And it was
Um,
your first time at Catch and Flow, yeah?
yeah, yeah, first
So,
time.
and you went with your squad. You had Goya from Romania, you had
Yep,
Maharu already in Japan, and yourself. I mean,
yep.
how was it the first time at Catch and Flow? We can talk about the competition in a second, but what were you seeing like as a spectator? How was it?
Yeah, I was really curious because it's a unique event. I've been watching catch and flow videos for so long now. Like it's one of my favorite events to watch, like on YouTube. Um, because it's just like all dark and like the judges are always in a special place, and then it's just straight up freestyle. Like I remember like going back and watching the Wyatt and the Nick Stodd like freestyles, like amazing videos. But so I was like curious from that aspect because it's always looked like a different event compared to other events, and it is. But yeah, to like get a good feeling of like where it is. I know the location's changed, but just like the feeling of like what exactly the event is about was cool because it's like it was in a nightclub. So like one floor was like the practice floor, then the floor above was the event competition floor.
Yeah.
And then it's just basically yeah, freestyle. It's just like qualifications and then the final matches with yeah, the 5 judges. Um but yeah, I mean, it was really exciting, really hype. Uh, Obviously, Yasu brought it. I think he hyped up the crowd the most with his antics and his tricks. But it was really, really fun. Yeah, like yeah, it was a really good time. I try to film as much as I can, and
Mhm.
yeah, it kind of stinks because yeah, I'm not really in the moment at that time. Like you can hear me, in some of those videos that I posted, like screaming in the background, especially like yeah, Yasu's final infamous run when he took the camera. I was just like, oh my god. Uh, but yeah, it was yeah, but yeah, it was a good time.
Mm-hmm. And then, so no, I agree. When Yasu took that camera, I was like, all right, it's over. You have to do good here, Yasu. What are you doing?
Mm.
Oh, oh my God, he actually killed it. Now he's gonna have the most viral video of all time on Instagram.
Dude,
Yeah,
he
dude.
had to do good. He had to, because if
Yeah,
he legit would have lost. Like Shinnosuke did it so well. And then
yeah.
it's funny because I woke up at like I don't know like 6 a.m. and I or 5:45 and I instantly went to Instagram or YouTube just to catch it. I was like, all right, cool. Who's in the finals? Hopefully Nick. Didn't happen. But I watched it on a live stream. I was like, and then Yasu, I saw Yasu take the GoPro. I'm like, oh my god, oh my god, that's actually oh. Dude, I
Yeah,
was freaking out in my room at like 6 a.m. And dude, because that's like the coldest thing I've ever seen on stage. Like you cannot do that and not do well because you look pretty dumb if you do that. You took someone's GoPro. I mean, I think it was a high resolution
yeah,
GoPro, so like whatever. But like the fact that he actually snapped that hard, oh my god, like insane.
yeah.
Never
And
seen
he
anything like that.
and he, you're kind of expecting the similar tricks, and then once in a while he'll just really like pump it up. Like he's usually, the trip jug in, jug late, jug trip jug
Yeah,
in. But then there's a few times when he pops off. Like I remember catch and flow, EKC, he did like 10 insta lighthouses to like down, and then he also did 4-tap times 4, like
Yep.
just like a random
was
pop
Yep.
off where you're like, holy shit. And then in the finals, I mean, he kind of like skated by a trip lighthouse, like a trip toss to lighthouse, into lighthouse, which is sick. And then he also did the trip flip to airplane, which was, I think he did that in the finals. And that it's like, oh my God, it's like, okay, this isn't just his usual like
Yeah.
freestyle stuff, but he also brought the tricks. And then, yeah, with the cam, I mean, in terms of like the freestyle aspect of getting the crowd hype and like flowing, that's what Yasu's all about. That's why I think he's the best freestyler, because he just flows and you can kind of tell he's spontaneous, but still able to control Kendama, which is so hard to control.
Yeah, I definitely think they also practice that too. Like they have their flow sessions. I know the higher seats, they just drop in, like they switch out when they miss. And that's why they don't miss that much, because it's like, oh, let's see what I can make up here. Oh, I'm about to miss it, but I'm going to save it somehow with either my other hand, knee bounce, kick, something to keep it alive. And that's kind of what I saw a lot of at Catch and Flow this year. I want to talk about prelims real quick, just for a second. I just want to say, so there's usually up until group F, but this year was only until group E. I will say though, usually there's a lot of beginners at Catch and Flow. This year, by group A, sure, okay, we'll give that beginner-esque players, the players that won't make it no matter what. But from B and onwards, B had good players, dude, and then C, you had somebody from C who qualified for finals, Hikaru.
Yeah,
that guy is not even sponsored yet. He's not even sponsored, by the way. He's just a good player from Japan. He just had a really crazy run. And then you have D and E, obviously the best players in those groups. I just thought that was incredible how the standard is rising so high. And by the way, all these players are Japanese. So just think of how everybody in group A and B who didn't make it, and are seen as like the lowest, like these kids they're like 9 and 10 years old. Like a couple years. Just know that Japan isn't going to slow down anytime soon. Like it's just over. But Isaac, you went in the last group, right? Group E, with all the best players. How was that? How was that first time on Catch and Flow stage?
Yeah, I mean, I was hoping to go like D, but honestly, just because of the pressure, because I feel like I can kind of sneak in and then hit my run and then hopefully qualify.
I feel
the pressure of like being in E didn't really get to me. There's things that did get to me, why I think I had a run that I didn't, not a non-ideal run.
Yeah.
Because I practiced a decent amount for catch and flow, and I really simply just forgot a few things to do when I was on stage. It was just like the stage of the crowd, or I don't know what happened, but yeah, I maybe got too pumped up and then was like, going for too hard of lines, which is, I know, just like the most basic mistake. And what you guys specifically said to, like, when I asked for help, you guys are like, don't go for too much, especially at first. Like, and then, I'm on stage trying to like 4-tap into a line when I should just be airplaning into a line, So those are my like post, I've been kind of taking notes of what I should do, of like lines I should do. And then today I was just thinking of like, what did I learn from this to do better in freestyles? And yeah, it was, yeah, I don't know. I think it's just, yeah, I mean, there's so much of event that's just controlling and keeping your mind calm, I mean, like when I got on the stage, I'm just like jumping up and down of excitement, And like for Kendama, like, yeah, for basketball, you can have adrenaline and everything, but for Kendama, you want to stay super calm. And I realized that after catch and flow, for me, like the most important thing to do was it's your mind. It's not necessarily even your tricks. It's like just remember like your strategy, remember your tactics, because for we were practicing me, Maharu, and Goya, and I was hitting good lines, but then I'd reset, or I'd like, okay, go back to this like a creative, easy line, and I was doing that when I was practicing, but then when I got on the stage, I just forgot a few things. But yeah, that's basically my review of like my performance.
And well, first off, I want to say like 100% when you're up there, it's when you said forgetting tricks, that is such I've had that happen to me numerous times because you're up there
Yeah.
and you feel the energy and
Yeah.
everything you practice, it may or may not go out the window. But when you say like, oh yeah, I have forward tapped into line, there's been so many times where I've been on a line that like I kind of like have imagined in my head, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh man, I'm kind of killing it. Or like, wait, what if I add this? And I'll literally think
Mm,
that 1 millisecond before I do it. Like even I don't know
yeah.
I'm gonna do it. Even I don't know I'm gonna
Yeah.
do it. I'm just gonna do it. But I totally understand that. But take us through your preparation because you're talking about strategizing tactics, and I think a lot of people may not understand kind of where you're coming from because it's catch and flow. It's such a different event. It's a freestyle event. So
Yeah.
yeah, curious to how you.
Yeah, I mean, been preparing for events since like 2019, but only for open. I've been practicing. I've never really practiced for freestyle. So this is
Mhm.
my first time practicing for freestyle. And I've done like okay in freestyle events before, but it was always just like, okay, see what I can do when I'm up there. Like at the last second, think of a few things I can do. So for my preparation for catch and flow, it was like an hour every day for yeah, I probably did like 10, 20 hours in total, like a month coming up to the event. And then it was just kind of like going through my normal tricks that I can do and then like figuring out which ones I can do the best, what the event will like, what the judges will like, and then like writing those down and then just kind of practicing like the same sort of lines. So like I can pretty consistently go up, hit like triple lunar, and then like an inward triple lunar. I hit like a four tap jug spike. I can hit like
Mhm.
a two tap juggle late flip, juggle spike, maybe do the lighthouse, and then I have like a little quick string flow recovery thing. I have a creative cup thing where like I put the time on the cup. It's super easy, but it's just something that judges would love for catch and flow. That's the one thing that I forgot, like that line specifically. And then obviously like when I'm moving around, I can be like 1.5 swap, go to base cup, go to a tab, jug, lighthouse, blah blah blah. But I was basically just like practicing those for a good amount of time. I put a good amount of practice in up until catch and flow. But and then like they're just throwing music, and then like I would get my YouTube video of like the catch and flow timer on YouTube, and
Mhm.
go through that, and then like see how much I can do. So yeah,
Yeah, I definitely think you prepared well as much as you knew how you could. It was your first time, and it's honestly really hard to go into a competition for the first time and really, really crush it. I feel like you just have to be in a different, I guess, mindset or headspace that day, or you just have to be insanely like practicing kendama up until that point. I just feel like a new event is always just a new atmosphere. You kind of have to get used to it, especially
mm,
for catch flow. Um, I was the same first time I went. I'm not gonna say. I mean, I did good the first time I went, but it's just like it was clearly way different than anything other event I've ever been to.
yeah,
Because it's literally just freestyle and it's in Japan, right? Um, the judging is way different than anything else you've ever seen. You kind of have to learn how to accept some decisions or play to
mm,
the judges more than you would in America or Europe. It's just a lot different. And you only get 90 seconds. Yeah. It's just a lot of different things. And also the timer itself is kind of just like it makes you I think that's just a factor by itself too. It's like
mm,
10, 9. It's like, oh shit. Like
yeah,
well, it's almost like you have no time left, but it's like you're counting down. All these judges are like emceeing. It's like, oh, what's
yeah,
going on? All these lights and too. And so it's a little tough, but no, yeah, I definitely think your strategy was good to practice with. Yeah, but I definitely feel you on forgetting stuff. It just happens. But I
mm,
know that you mentioned Maharu was practicing his run as well with you, and you said he hit it like every single time
mm,
before. Dude, and he did the exact same thing on stage. I mean, he went up
mm,
there and crushed his prelim. Um, yeah, man. I think a lot of people practice for catch and flow, especially for prelims. I know a lot of people would want to hear the argument of do you practice or you do not practice, but I mean, if you watch all those Japanese kids up there, they all practiced. I mean, they
yeah,
knew what they were gonna do. They only have one chance, right? 90 seconds. They got to make that shit count. And the only way you're not going to forget things, or the best way you're going to avoid forgetting things, is practicing it a lot. And I know
mm,
those people just practice so much, and they're also just players who just play kendama all the time. They're not like,
yeah,
oh, Katsuo is coming up, I got to practice. I'm not saying you're like this because I know you play. I know you play kendama all the time as well. And they're not just like, oh, comp up in 4 weeks, got to start practicing, got to play kendama again. No, they've been playing. Like they've been
mm,
playing every single day for hours, and now it's just a little different. Oh, I'll utilize
mm,
some of my time to hone in a run today, but I'm still gonna be playing just like I normally do. I think that's a huge component of it as well because
yeah,
everybody made it. bro, they're all playing hours. Maharu plays all the time. Ryoga plays all the time. They crushed it.
Yeah.
It
And
was
there's also a thing of like, honestly, like a four tap practicing, like right now, is like a
incredible.
different trick than doing a four tap like on stage.
Yeah.
Like just
Yeah.
because your muscles, your hand feels different, you're more energized. Like when you get to the Ken to juggle spike is a different feeling. Like it's way different, you know? And that's the same thing for all comp. I think for open, like an underbird when you're practicing is so much easier. Then you get on stage and you're watching the Thomas swing around, you're looking at like everything that could go wrong to get to underbird.
Yeah, no,
You're
literally.
like, oh my God, this is so hard. Like this is actually so difficult. But when you're like in your family room, you can do a million underbirds in a row, you know? So the other thing is like, yeah, Maharu, I mean, he was on a catch and flow stage beating people when he was like 9, like, 5 years ago. So
Mm-hmm.
the amount of experience that he and you guys have on stage of doing tricks, like how many times have you missed tricks on stage? How many times have you made tricks on stage? It's like
Yeah.
so many years compared to like newer players and me, because I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not a newer player, but I, started competing in 2019. So it's only been 4 years of me being on stage like 3 times a year, maybe,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I
No,
think
it's
I think one of the things that well, actually one of the questions that I was asked in Instagram, this is puts it segues right really seamlessly into here, is someone asked me why, well, it was Rudney. Rudney asked me like kind of joking, like, why like what's the secret behind all these Japanese players? What's the secret behind how they're
yeah,
all so good? We've talked about how, all the entire prelims, like most of them were Japanese players, of course, Japanese event, but all the finals were Japanese except for one, who qualified. And I know Nick has a good perspective on this, or a kind of an in-depth perspective. It's kind of the difference, like why, like kind of just dissecting why the Japanese players are dominating. Their skill level
mm,
difference is so high and compared to other like nationalities. Because actually, I tell people this sometimes you don't even play Kendama. I'm like, yeah, like I'll be like, oh yeah, Kendama's a Japanese skill toy. Oh yeah, of course they're like the best. I'm like, well, actually, it wasn't always like that. Like
yeah, I
it
know,
actually
yeah.
was not always like that at all, like at all. But I mean, Nick, what about? I mean, I know you thought about this recently. The kind of the reasons why they're so insane. Do you want to talk about it a little bit?
yeah. I mean, I recorded a podcast about talking about all these things yesterday. So I won't get into all of it now, but I'll just leave it at one point. They just simply care more than you. Like they care a lot more than you, and more than you'd ever think you could even possibly care about Kendama. It's more of like a sport over here. It really is. And
Mm,
I know all of us want to get Kendama to a sport level, and we all think, some of us think it's a sport, some of us think it's not there yet. It doesn't matter. The Japanese players, it is their sport. Like they won't play other
mm.
sports and they'll just do Kendama. That's their like, and their parents are down with that. They're
And yeah,
down.
and they won't get crap for it. They won't.
Yeah.
They
No, not
like
at all.
it's not a stigma like it is here. Yeah,
Yeah. No, they're playing Kendama, and it's a normal thing. It's a Japanese skill toy because everyone knows what it is. It's like a yo-yo, right? Like we all see yo-yos in America. We always have. And people will just grind Kendama for hours, and their parents will just be like, "Yep, let's go. Let's go to this
yeah,
comp. Let's go to this jam. Let's do it." It's like game day. It's like Zack and I practicing, soccer 3 times a week for 12 years. Oh, it's
yeah.
practice day. Oh, we got to travel for game day. Yeah, same thing for Kendama. And so they just care more than you. They film more than you. They play more than you. They're around better players than you. And yeah, everything is just better in terms of skill level. If you want to just say in terms of skill level, I know other players, foreign players, have more influence than Japanese people. I will say a lot of people who are older, like everyone in Japan is super young. Like every best player is super young. A lot of players in America or Europe are older. They have more influence. They're more of organizers or taking on. There's some pros out there, but there's more organizers, event planners, owners of companies. It's all great. More influence, I'd say. There's also a language barrier there with Japanese. Not, people can't reach the whole world with just Japanese. But these, in terms of just skill, I mean, yeah, Japanese players just care a lot more, simply. But I'll be dropping another podcast really soon talking about that. But anyway, that's just the gist of it.
I'm excited to hear that, and I also noticed that Japanese players, their the way they play, like their form,
Mm,
is like way better. Like,
it's a mess of it. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, we'll see some players come up like these days with like a good form. You can tell that it's like their timing control is really good, and other
Mm,
players they kind of like get away with it with like not the best form, and it's like okay, like
yeah.
Benji for example, like you could just tell his taps and his timing control is like good, but it seems like in Japan, even intermediate players just have a control over it.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that is. It just must be from them watching and playing with like people who already have good form, like Ryoga watching Takuya, for example. But I always like to speak on form. It's something that I pay attention to a lot. I've done videos on it, and that's like one thing I notice is if you watch my last Instagram post of Ryoga doing 4-3-2-1, 1-2-3-4 to penguin wing, like you can see his Tama control. Like it's unmatched. It's not even there's nothing like it. Like with the way that he moves his hand to the Tama, and dude, he spins it backwards. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but like usually when you I don't know if you guys like spin it, but usually if like you were to do a 1.5, you would just spin it like this. He does a 1.5 and spins it the other way. And I've never seen that before. I
Oh,
don't think anyone
interesting.
else. Yeah, like Maharu just and I looked at Maharu's doing it too. And it's just like a Japanese secret, I guess. I don't
Wait,
even think they even know that they do it.
wait.
But
They
So
probably don't.
when I spin, I pull. Do
yeah,
they push?
yes.
Okay, that's crazy.
That doesn't.
Yeah,
That's
so
Wow.
there's these small things that uh I don't know where they learned it, how they got it. I don't know if they talked to each other about it. Like if they just watch other people do it, they're like, oh yeah. But Ryoga, like, yeah. So when he gets into,
damn.
so yeah, this is a normal. You go this, you spin that way, but he'll do a tap, and then he'll do like this way,
It
and
spins off his thumb, maybe.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. And then when he wants to do jug to bird, you can see how perfect it is because he'll spin it, the tama lands on his hand, and it just goes right perfectly straight into a stall. And so it's like so much easier to be consistent when you have that much like control, you know?
Yeah. I've got to ask him about that then. I didn't know they were pushing it. I'll have to ask. I'll have to ask Ryoga or something. That's
Yeah.
incredible. No,
Yeah, I
yeah,
don't know if Takuya's doing that, but yeah.
their form is ridiculous. I mean, clearly, a lot of people usually say like, "Oh, people in Japan, they just play the same. Like, they all just look the same." I've heard that before. They all just look the same. It's like, damn, I want to look like that too. So whatever. Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
want to play like them.
Yeah,
There
Everybody's
seems to
good
be
at
for sure.
less
Korea.
variety in style like and over there. Not I
Mm.
mean they're all lacing like insane bangers. Like yeah, over here like you said, there's that. I mean, there's players like Nick, like Alex Mitchell, like even those two don't even have the same styles. Like even Edwin has a different tap
No.
style. But like then you have people like
Mm.
Tim or what?
Yeah.
Tim or yeah, that guy who is like a very, very unique looking style, and he's still lacing insanely hard tricks, but it's just like nobody is playing like this dude, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
It just varies way more here, you know. But over there,
Yeah.
that's a good question. That's a good point that you made because I didn't really think about it like that. But yeah, they're very concise. And honestly, Ryoga is actually on another level for me for cleanness and like
Mm.
conciseness. Like when I see him
Mm.
tap, I'm like, dude, that is not going. That is like I have full confidence in him when he taps. You know, like those
Yeah.
aren't going
Yeah.
down. There's no like,
No.
oh my god, there's no mistap. No, dude,
Right.
like I think his taps look like better than Takuya's, to be honest with you.
Mm.
Like
Me too.
they're just right
Yeah.
there. They're just right in front of
You
him. Like
you get a sense of him controlling the Ken with it. Like almost like
Mm.
he's tapping into a space that he wants to tap at instead of like usually you tap just to like as many as you can and then like you get out to a jug and then when you're
yeah,
juggling you like recontrol for him and I've gotten the sense with Takuya too like a two tap or a four tap like he'll get more control like he'll like gain the control and then go back to like whatever he's doing but you can watch like I'm watching that 4-3-2-1 1-2-3-4 that Ryoga did, and you can just feel the control that he has. Like it's not just tapping the Ken and hoping that it stays where it stays, but he's moving the Ken through tap. Like it's a crazy
yeah,
physics experiment, you know?
yeah.
It's wild.
And seeing players like him flow. And actually, this is something I want to talk about too. Is like in top 16. Well, even in the prelims, like it's planned. Like obviously most of them are planned, but you can't plan a run every single time, especially in catch flow. Like the natural freestyle-ness is going to come
Yeah.
out. But what really impressed me this year, seeing all the matches from the finalists to the finals, the top 16 to the finals, was how comfortable people looked up there. Because there's a lot of times over here in America where you don't there's some rigidness on stage. There's some
Yeah.
rigidness. There's going to be more errors. And
Yeah.
in Catch and Flow, I was really impressed. People were looking like all the finals looked like they were having fun. They were flowing, and
Mm,
yeah, they were just flowing way more confident, it seemed like, and they were just seamlessly moving like and playing. Whereas over here, you might see a lot of mess ups sometimes, or like a rigidness in terms of resetting and stuff. But over like
yeah.
in Catch and Flow, I was really impressed with how much people flowed in general.
Mm. Yeah, it's a different level. I mean, and that's what freestyle should be.
Yeah.
Like maybe open is a different thing, right? Because you can be really concentrated, maybe a little rigid, and you just want to get the trick in and then spike it and then release. But if you want to be a good freestyler, you want to come with confidence, which Yasu does the best, Like,
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, definitely in America, or at least like the West, like Europe as well, most freestylers, when they go up, it's really rigid. And then you kind of move on if you escape with like more tricks landed than the other guy. But
So,
um, yeah,
I think Japan also there's a lot more opportunity for just playing with better players and also at jams and maybe mini games or mini battles or whatever. Just because I also will say Japan is a lot smaller than America, like as a country.
mm,
Like people in America, I've never been to an event before. I've been playing for 4 years,
yeah,
like first time ever competing. We'll see how it goes.
mm,
I get it. Some people just don't have the opportunity and they might just
mm,
crack under the pressure.
mm,
Depends on who you are. But in Japan, it's like you start playing, you are going to go to events. You are literally going
mm,
to. You take it seriously. I mean, you have to. There's so
yeah,
many jams around the entire country, but also it's like if you want to go to a big event, it's not that far. It's really not.
mm,
If it's a train, a bullet train, or a plane, it's really not that far. You know what I mean?
mm.
Unless it's like a cross country send, sure, okay, but it's usually not.
I guess
If,
it would be like basically, I wonder if like DC, Philly, New York, and Boston, I feel like that's maybe just a Japan. I think population, I don't know about size, but like imagine like Tokyo being New York City, and then like people in DC are kind of far, but they just take a train up. Because I think
yeah,
that's like 120 million people or something. So, and I think Japan's around that. So, yeah, it's a lot easier to get to events. Yeah.
yeah. And you'll see like a lot of players in Japan. Like it'll be weird if you don't go to the World Cup because
Yeah. Yeah.
everybody can make it unless you have a different agenda. But everybody can make that on all the entire country of Japan. I will say, and like America's just so much bigger, so it's a lot harder for people to go places. But
Mm.
it just there's also that factor. Like there's just more opportunity. It's just easier to get places in Japan. So that's why I think Zach, you saw a lot of players up there just having fun. It's just because they're used to being around that environment already, so much more than other players in America overseas and whatnot. So just a lot
But
more
yeah,
opportunity.
that's a good point too. That like, and I think that's why it's different because in America, Kendama's almost like for a lot of people, just a hobby toy. It's a niche hobby thing,
Yeah.
and people get in it because of that. I didn't get into it because it was niche. I just got into it because it seemed really cool and fun. Um, and I grew up in a basketball family. Played basketball my entire life. I was like really short in high school, so didn't even try out for the team, but wouldn't have made it anyway. But if I was practicing basketball, like my dad, like I was already practicing like a lot, but if my dad like saw me have a really special interest in basketball, like practicing a ton, he would have invested a ton, and I would have been going to like special, courses, whatever, trying to get better and better and better. And I started playing kendama, and he's competitive, and he saw one of the events and he liked it and everything. But because he's never seen it until I brought it, like he didn't. It's not like a athletic sport thing, you know, as it is for me. It is for me an athletic sport thing. Like it's just another sport. But
Mhm.
and he sees that now for sure, but he can't really do much because he's never played before, right? So it's not like he's really good at basketball and can help me with my form and everything. But for Konami, he didn't have it ever. So and then in Japan, it's a lot different. Where not only parents play, but they see it as something else. They see like just imagine, just like a soccer or football or basketball or something.
Wait, you were short in high school?
Yeah, I was like
Really?
a crazy late bloomer, dude. Like
Wait, what defines short? What is that?
so, freshman year I was 4'11".
Oh my god.
Holy. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and then sophomore year was like 5'2". Junior year I was like 5'6", and
Okay.
then senior year I was like 5'10",
Oh,
and then and then I didn't get in like 6'1", 6'2" until like freshman, sophomore year of college.
wow.
I
Because
was
You're
now,
still
extremely
growing. Okay.
Yeah,
wow.
like in college, I was still growing. Like, and I looked super young too. I was like extreme late bloomer.
No, we know. We know about the young part.
Yeah,
Like,
I know. Yeah, I look young like now, but like if you saw me driving at like 16,
yeah.
dude, I got not only pulled over, but people like looking at me like, oh my God, the kid, this kid stole his mom's car. Like, we got to stop this. Like, because I was like short, I looked super young.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, because
Hilarious.
I was always athletic guy, I always like sports and everything, but maybe I could have gotten close, but because
Yeah.
I had a good shot, I could shoot well. But at
Yeah.
5 foot, you can't play basketball. I went to an all boys like private high school that was
Yeah.
really competitive and everything. So yeah.
Wow. And now look at you. You're a giant.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Now I'm
straight up. 4'11"
6'2".
freshman year. Wow, dude.
Yeah,
Now
dude.
you're 7 feet. Oh my
No,
God, it's
no,
incredible. No,
not
you
Surge.
towered over people in Japan though, for real. You really did.
Mm.
I feel
Yeah,
tall. I feel tall here, by the way. People tell me, Nick, you're tall. I'm like, all right, like,
yeah.
don't give me that.
But Japan's not that bad. I thought it was gonna be like worse. But there's like, there's a few Japanese kids that are like 6'5",
No,
Like even
100%.
walking around I took notice and they're not like all super short.
I wouldn't say there's kids. There's that one dude.
That
who's
one to
6'5".
Sulab dude, right? Yeah.
There's that one Sulab guy. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
6'5".
He hit the
Yeah.
genetic lottery for height for Japanese people. He hit the 0.0001%. His
Oh
entire
my God.
lineage
There's
combined
that
to
one
make
guy.
that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want
Yeah.
to ask next if you had any specific players, like who's your favorite player at Catch and Flow, or like a favorite match? Just anybody who stood out. Obviously Yasu, that finals will go down forever, but anybody else, if you had anything specific. I personally didn't watch every single match live, but I mean, I'm sure you did, or most of them. So yeah, if you want to comment on that.
Yeah, there's definitely people that I take interest in more. I mean,
Yeah.
I was excited to watch you, Nick, because like we were talking about it before, you're a good friend.
Yeah. Sorry about
And
that.
also it's fun to watch you play, to see if you're gonna hit like a 5 still, whatever. Obviously didn't happen. But
For that performance.
yeah. No, it's all right. But yeah, Maharu too for my team. But in general, like, yeah, for some reason there's players that I kind of know, I kind of expect like what they're gonna do. And so I'm not super like keen on like really paying attention, really excited, like Wyatt Madi. It's just like, yeah, I kind of know the run, It's not gonna be like super surprising, but Takuya, obviously, Takuya. I always pronounce his name wrong. It's Takuya, right?
Takuya.
Takuya, dude. Are you sure? Because maybe it's.
Yeah.
I've heard. I mean, yeah, I guess but okay.
You
So
should
it's
ask
Takuya.
him. You should.
No, I swear that I've heard like other Japanese people say Takuya.
Hit him with a voice message. Hit him with a voice
I
message.
trust
Yo,
you.
man.
I trust you. I trust you. Takuya. Okay, so
Yeah. Either way is fine. Everybody knows, but yeah. Anyway, Takuya.
Takuya. Okay. Obviously excited to watch him. He kind of was disappointing this year. But then yeah, like Yasu, the most exciting. Trying to think, like, yeah, the high receipts guys, like they're just gonna bring a lot of hype, like Kaito. Even though I kind of know what they're gonna do. Like Yasu, it seems to me like he's gonna be the most surprising with what he's like the antics he's gonna bring, And then like, yeah, I know he's gonna hit the typical like thigh bounce trip jug spike, but he's also going to bring some random shit that is super cool,
No, and it's going to be completely improvised too.
Yeah,
Like it's going to
yeah,
be completely improvised. He's going to be jumping off the stage, grabbing cameras from the crowd. Bro, who does that?
yeah, yeah. And he's gonna go up to his opponent. Yeah, he goes up to his opponent, like, crazy, dude.
He doesn't really
entertainer,
miss
dude.
too much.
No, he doesn't miss.
He doesn't miss. And he just won't miss for a long time, and then he'll just do something wild that gets the crowd hyped, and that's usually enough to win it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's the
Yeah, if
best
you
to
want to take a
watch.
page out about how to win, you should probably just paint your face. Get to I don't know, learn how to jump off stages, dance a little bit.
Yeah.
Bro, you'll never lose again. You'll
Yeah.
literally, yeah, this kid is crazy.
And also being able to like reset your string by doing like a string bounce. He'll just like kind of get wrapped up, throw the tama comes back, do a juggle, and then like the strings chill again. Like that's one thing I think one of the reasons he's most consistent because his string control. And that's all for a lot of Japanese players as well. But I took like a 30-second slow motion video. I'm like, yo, Yasu, do something, you know? And like on my plane back from like Tokyo to New York, I just was watching that video over and over again to see in slow motion like what the string was doing, how he reset, you know, how he goes to an insta, like everything's planned. Everything is just the reason he's that good is because he's done it so much, you know, and he's practiced in specific ways. But yeah, man, it's so cool. It's so much fun to watch, dude, because it's so unique and different.
His string control is insane. Zach, you go ahead.
Yeah, I should. Yeah, maybe I'll like post it in slow mo and like talk about it or something. But he is able to just, yeah, just not get wrapped up, and that's so hard to do, dude. It's so hard to be able to do that like long run consistently every time without the string getting in the way. And dude, there's like if you watch the freestyle again, like the finals, even like there's just stuff that he does to unlock the string, and but it also looks just so not planned, so easy. Watch the rest of his body. Everything is flowing together in such a cool way. Like everybody's playing Kendama, like everybody besides Yasu is playing Kendama with one hand, their mind like on that one hand. And it's not to say that he's using both hands, but like his whole body is playing Kendama. Like everything about him is playing Kendama. And like it, but when he wants to like relax or dance or like kind of move back, his kendama tricks and his kendama moves back and relaxes. When he wants to go really hard, like his whole vibe is like influenced into the way he plays kendama. It's incredible, the best.
It's unlike anything I've ever seen, and just to see him, as you said, never one, his string barely messes him up. Two, even if it does, we don't really can't tell. And I think that's the magic about what a lot of these Japanese players are doing is because this is such a I love how Yasu brings a real entertainment factor. And as you know, viewers for us, and of course, people who don't even know what Kendama is, because of course they're not going to catch this. But as Kendama players, it's hard to register in our brains when they mess up if they don't make it seem like they messed up. And they're so it seems like these players are conditioned to do that. Like they're very conditioned. Like they practice this. I mean, they definitely practice it, right? Like the rebounding, the saving. I mean, Yasu missed like a handful of times in his run, but you can't tell because it looks like a part of his line. Like he's just integrating that instantaneously into his run. Whereas maybe some players over here in America, I mean, like I don't know anybody over here who's going to do that, you know? Because I mean, like when I like just take me for example, I thought about myself like trying to do that. It would take a leap over a barrier in my mental like in my mental state just to like be like, okay, I'm going to continue even though I messed up, even though I know I messed up. Like I'm just going to continue, even though I know like I think this might look stupid, but I'm just going to keep going. Like that's how my mind would perceive it. Like, oh, this is going to be dumb, don't do it. But when these players are doing it over there, it just looks like a seamless performance, which is amazing because like for freestyle, that's why they're kicking ass, dude. They're kicking ass because they're making their run seem flawless when it's you know almost flawless, but all the flaws that are happening they're not registering as hard as like a total reset.
Yeah.
And I told actually last year I saw High Receipts crew probably around sometime in December last year, a year ago. And they were like, yeah, we're going to EKC next summer. And I was like, whoa, that's insane. I was like, yeah, guys, freestyle's a little different overseas. And I wasn't saying like you can't win. They were asking me like, oh, is Yasu going to be good? Like, is he still going to bring it? And I was like, no, for sure. I mean, Yasu, it's not like you guys can't win, but it's different than catch and flow. Like, the judging is different. People want to see different things. Bro, he fucking destroyed everybody.
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to
close.
I wasn't trying to scare them. And all I said was, yeah, it's a little different.
It's different. It's true. Yeah.
But I mean, you saw in EKC, it's like, well, which style? Who's going to dominate? I mean, still Japanese players, right? It's pretty incredible. And I want to just kind of segue into just really specific tricks I saw, just a couple at Catch and Flow that have become the norm because, oh my God. Ryoga I put this video on my Instagram. This is just one of the tricks. 4 tap, 3 tap, 2 tap, 1 tap, Jokbert. hits it on bird, goes like this. Crowd, get hype. Get hype. Dude, what? Why is the crowd not literally exploding? Like,
I
do you
know,
know,
I know.
do
Yeah,
people not know how hard that is? Are they really
yeah.
just that accustomed to it? I saw that and I was like, it's over. Like if I hit that in America or Europe, I won the match. I won the whole tournament. Bro,
Yeah.
that's an insane trick. You don't he hit
I
that first
know,
try
dude.
too. It might have been second try. But I mean, wow, that's ridiculous. Then this is another one. This was crazy, and I think it went way under the radar. I don't even think people even really registered. Shinnosuke pulled up. Ken, juggle, four tap, juggle bird in a catch and run.
Damn.
I don't think you
Yeah.
understand. That's an old level 12 for KDBC. Just put in perspective to Spike. He did that first try in a catch and flow run, and I'm looking there and I'm like, did anybody just see what just happened? I mean, that alone can win you the run. That you don't even have to do anything else. But
Yeah.
so in my opinion, that just wins it right there. I mean, that's ridiculous. But do you see how crazy that is? Like people, he just thought of that. Like, I gotta hit something. I'm gonna do this absolutely messed up trick that no one's ever done before. All right, got it. What's next? Yo, hold up. What? What did you just
Yeah.
do? Like, you didn't even build up to that. You just decided, I gotta hit something real quick. Juggle the bird. All right, yeah, sure. Out of a Ken four tap. Like, what the
But it's
like?
so weird that with like your playing style, like Shinosuke and Ryoga specifically, like the way they play, it's not as like I feel like if somebody else did that trick, it would be more hype. It's almost like if it's too easy and it looks too clean, then you're like, oh yeah, I just didn't even think about it. But not until I rewatched and I look back, like Shinosuke specifically, he just is so clean and smooth and so nonchalant. And like, yeah, Yasu's clean and smooth and nonchalant too, but you know when he's hitting, like you can see it better or something,
He's
you
really good at
know?
portraying. Yeah, he's really good at
Yeah,
portraying. Honestly, it does depend on the person. It really does. Because
yeah.
I used to think that too against when I was like playing Bonds all the time. I was like, dude,
Bonds, exactly,
Bonds
Yeah.
was
exactly.
so good at making his tricks look good. Even if they
Yeah,
weren't the hardest, he was
no,
really good at making them be like, oh, let's go. Like I just did that.
yeah,
Whereas when I would play him, I'd be like, dude, I'm going for harder tricks, but like, why is nobody like hyping me up? Like, but Bond's just he's got that performance style, you know?
yeah,
It's just really respectable. At first, back then I was like, that shouldn't even matter. It's just about skill. But like, dude, it clearly does. It clearly
yeah.
matters.
No, it like looks harder. Like I can imagine a Bonds like lighthouse juggle to lighthouse, and just the way he's doing it with his hand and catching the lighthouse is like it looks so much more impressive. And it almost like reminds you of how hard the trick really is. But then like when Shinosuke did something crazy, you're like, oh yeah, that trick looks easy. Like if I practice, I can probably hit that. You know?
but it just isn't.
Like and
And
then
there's
he
no
yeah.
yeah, it's nothing bad about making it look too clean and easy, right? I mean, that's a
No,
skill.
no. Yeah,
But I
yeah,
think for performance freestyle, especially now, where I think it is transitioning to more of a performance based competition, I think
yeah,
it's definitely a skill to have to actually make your tricks look difficult.
I think the exaggeration definitely
yeah.
plays a huge part. And I think what a really good like zoomed out example of this is the reel you posted recently, Nick, of Kazushi doing a triple J. I thought about that after I watched it because you see on the stage, it's like what 10? How old is he? Like 10?
Yeah.
Yeah, he just turned 10.
He's 10 years old. He's like 3, 2, and he's like looking at the crowd. There's this 10-year-old on stage. He's like hyping up the crowd like 3, 2, and then he goes for a trip J, hooks it up. Like basically, like for me, it looked like it was just going up in the air for like 2 seconds straight. Catches it, boom, oh, and you saw the crowd. Dude,
Yeah.
if anybody else was doing that, literally be like, "Oh my god, nobody gives a shit." That's like a big thing.
No.
Like straight up,
But
like if like and that, but the part of the reason too is because nobody who's in Group D or Group E or F or D or E or whatever, they wouldn't even care. They would just do a trip J like, here I'm gonna end my run with a trip J. Like that didn't matter, and nobody and literally the crowd would match that energy and be like, yeah, that doesn't even that barely is a part of the run. Like doesn't even count. That's like, yeah, he's in a trip J. Okay, like whatever. But Kazushi did the trip J and like, do you see the entire crowd? It's like, oh, like it's just
yeah.
different. Yeah.
I mean, I'm surprised that my final ranking was I was like 30th or something. And I looked at the people in front of me and they hit like more tricks that were harder. But I think
Mhm.
maybe I did a good job because I specifically wanted to kind of head up the crowd. So like I hit like a trip lunar flip and I was like, let's go.
Yeah.
And maybe I don't know what it is. People like weren't expecting it. They're surprised by it or something. But that maybe got me more points or something. But it's so true. I mean, a lot of people just will hit a trip J in the run, and you don't think anything of it. But if you're gonna hype up the crowd, like watch this,
Yeah.
and then you hit it, and then you're like, let's go. It's a different story completely. And on that, like Kaito does that really well too. Like Kaito is not in the same group as like Yasu. Yeah, I guess the people who can do tricks and make it a lot better than it is. Like Kaito's qualifying run, he got first. And it was a great run. I mean, his EKC runs were way better, but it wasn't like especially crazy unless I missed something. He just hit like he was consistent. He's usually really good with consistency, hitting a bunch of tricks, but he just hit like three lunar flips, three chippy lunar flips, and he missed a decent amount. Like it was a solid run, and I don't know, I didn't see the rest of the qualifying to see what would beat him, but it wasn't super insane.
Yeah.
Really? Because I actually thought he snapped. Like I actually, in my mind, I might need to watch it again. But I thought he actually barely missed. Did he miss?
He definitely missed. It
Okay.
could either be his maybe it is you're kind of falling for his like showmanship,
Yeah.
or I could be wrong and I missed something. But I looked recently, yeah, and I was watching. I don't know. It's hard for freestyle because like you'll kind of get into it and be more critical when you watch, and then you'll be like, yeah, that wasn't that good. But then like another time you have a different mindset and you're like, oh, that was insane. But
Yeah.
Kaito, I'm pretty sure he missed a decent amount. He hit definitely a few trip lunar flips, and I know he kind of like juggled into a few tricks. But I mean, like his EKC runs, that like one time he had a 100% run, didn't miss once.
I saw that, yeah.
Insane shit. And then he was also doing tricks that, like in that run, he hit like a crazy tap banger. He hit like a really cool creative run. I don't know. I mean, we can, if you want to, we could watch it right now if you wanted. I don't know if you guys would do that, but yeah, watch Kaito's.
I think, I mean, from Catch and Flow?
Yeah. Yeah. Why don't we just watch the qualifying to see how he did?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Zach, you want to pull it
Let me
up?
see if I can
Because if we
find
share
it
the
real quick.
screen, it's gonna be on you guys post it on YouTube, so it's gonna be on there.
Yeah.
Like people will be able to watch it. But
Is Kaito's Catch and Flow prelim on YouTube like easy to find? Like,
yeah, I have it right here, dude.
Oh yeah,
I
go for
filmed
it.
Yeah.
I just want to clear up Kazushi. I know this isn't a big deal. Kazushi is actually 11. I messed that up, but I just thought.
All right, Isaac, I just enabled you.
All right, cool. Yeah, but it's funny. Like a 10-year-old would be like, 11-year-old would be like, I'm not 10, So it actually is a big deal.
Turned 11 3 months ago.
Yeah. You guys see it?
Yeah. That was beautiful.
Dear.
Nice.
Okay, so like, yeah, cool. Typical Kaito shit. Hits a trip. Oh, that's really okay. You missed.
Look at him though. He goes out of the miss right to a swirl spike. He's back in the flow.
Yeah, then he hit the 2 dub taps.
Oh, okay, he just missed there, yeah. And then okay.
I love that, yeah.
But
It's a 1, 2, 3.
No way, he missed that in.
Came back with a 4-tap jug spike
4.
though. Into base cup.
And then this is sick, right?
Oh.
Jug spike.
Oh.
That's huge.
That was huge. All right, true. Okay, yeah.
Oh wow, he was missing though.
Oh, that was a 4.
Nice. Yeah, he's pretty much doing the same exact tricks.
So yeah, another 4 tap. Hits a lunar tray.
Oh yeah.
And that's it.
Nice.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Again, I'm not. Okay, I guess he's still going.
Ooh, that was fire.
What was it? A trip lunar?
I think it was a triple and they kind of rovered it at the end. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow, he's really turning his whole body doing 360 with his.
That was sick.
Spacewalks. Wow, he really loves his lunars. Oh my god.
Yeah, he always does lunars.
Oh
yeah.
Nice,
same for EKC. I get like I know people are gonna be for some reason I feel like I have to defend myself, but I'm not saying that wasn't a like. Let me stop. I wasn't saying that was like a bad run. Of course not. I'm just saying like I think with Kaito his showmanship's so good that is even a better run. I got to look at the qualifiers to see what would have beaten him, but also, I mean, the fact that he killed it at UKC, like you just compare his perfect runs to that, and it's just so good, you know. But that because Kaito, he's one of the best, and he's a past winner too.
Yeah, exactly. I lost to him that year.
Oh yeah, in the finals?
No, in the very first round.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, oh great, I lost to this kid, and then he ended up winning. I was like, oh, I guess
makes it like 1% better.
Yeah,
it makes it like 1% better. Lost the guy who won.
Yeah,
that's like always the case.
But can we talk about those Canada base cups though?
Oh yeah, we should talk about that. I saw you guys in the message. Yeah.
Yeah. We should, dude. Yeah, Catch and Flow. I mean, we just talked about how people do anything, and anything and everything to keep it alive. You know, keep their flow alive.
Yeah.
They'll bounce up the ball, bounce up the tama with their foot, their knees. They'll use their other hand to keep it alive. They'll hand their base cup. Dude, they will hand their base cups. They will hand tricks, and it's okay. It's okay because guess what? If it looks good, you keep the flow going. Hey, you're gonna win. So no, but for real, I mean, handing your base cup, and what we mean is like, base cup is probably the most utilized cup in a freestyle by far. It's so easy to go out of tricks to it. But people like when they go base cup to lighthouse or something, you know, usually it's frowned upon to like hand it while you're like hold both parts. People will do this all the time, and it's just kind of like a thing. It's normalized now. I even heard one time that Nobu, the guy who hosts the event, like encourages like you to just like screw it, just do it, who cares? Which is like, it's whatever. I used to be like, well, why is this happening? Like, because I'm coming from a place where if you handed anything about your line, any part of it, it's just like reset now.
You're crucified. Like
cheating
on a stage, everybody is going to like burn you alive. Yeah, in America.
Yeah. It's like if you do that on stage, you're gonna get hated on forever. That was my impression. But now it's like it's all good, right? People are messing up so much, but they're so good at saving it that it really doesn't even look like they messed up, or that they even handed, because you don't even care. Because like people don't even care anymore. Dude, I've even stopped caring. Like I'll see people hand the shit out of their base cups, like literally carry. They'll literally carry the ball from base cup all the way to house, and literally just grab it all the way. And it's like, it's okay. It's like, okay. Like people just do that. I thought it was a little, some people think it's still whack. I still think it's like a little crazy sometimes, but I've kind of just accepted it. I used to think catch and flow, it's definitely changed over the past years, like the whole competition in itself. But now I've just kind of accepted it because the best players live here and the best players are doing what they want, and they're clearly showing dominance. So I kind of just accepted all the rules, the weird judging calls. I've accepted all of it pretty much. Yeah, you just gotta be prepared for it. Gotta go in there
it's
prepared.
Just different.
Yeah, it is different. Yeah,
way different. You know,
there's a lot of different calls that people don't agree with, but you just kind of got to go into catch flow and knowing like, hey, they might be looking at different things. You know, right? They're only looking at one category, like per judge. You know, so it's like it's a little weird. I definitely had questions. Sorry, do you guys want to talk more about the handing stuff?
Yeah, I want to talk about like any bad calls potentially this year, but we'll put that later.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna. Yeah.
But for the handing stuff, yeah, like if I saw somebody hand a lighthouse, it'd be way different than handing a base cup. I don't know if you like saw that this year of like handing lunars lighthouses.
I mean,
they would just keep going. They would just keep going.
I just know it happened.
Okay, okay. It happens, and then it's like in America, you see people like hand it and like do this. It'll take like 3 seconds to like that was handed. You know?
And the MCs will be like, good integrity, bro.
Yeah, integrity points. Yeah,
dude, who cares about integrity anymore? Oh my god. I'm not saying to hand your tricks all the time, but like, you know, just these little things. Like people will just keep going. So there's 2 ways to play the game.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's so weird. I mean, if you go back to, it's so funny if you go back to like the first catch and flow with Torkill, they were handing
oh my god, that was horrendous.
Yeah. If you watch Torkill's like lunar tray, bro, like in the video, like in his championship run, it's just like, and he's like, you know, like he doesn't only like spike it and then like, okay, let's go. He like, it's like, I just hit a fucking lunar tray. Like, where's the crowd? You know, and his lunar tray is like this, like, Yeah, it's crazy. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I mean, base cup handed to like Lighthouse or whatever. It's just weird because it's like, okay, I bet when they learned the trick originally, they did it. You know, like an open division, they wouldn't hand it. But with a freestyle, it's just different, you know? And it's, I don't know, like a Lighthouse, it'd be a lot different because like that's a specific trick. But even for this, with freestyle, with how creative you could be, I mean, Yasu's grabbing both things. Like,
Yeah.
he's doing, like, maybe this isn't technically even the what would this trick be, like Ken toss whatever, like it could just be this way to kind of swap and transfer into the better trick, you know, like
Yeah.
how many more points would it be if it was clean versus not clean in like an American like judging. I guess maybe some judges would take that super seriously and then like disqualify you or whatever, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, as long as it's not like, for me, as long as it's not like major tricks like lighthouses, that would take like a bunch of points off if I was a judge, if that's the case.
Yeah, I honestly think Yasu and Shinnosuke are like changing freestyle. Like
Yeah.
everything we just talked about, like keeping the flow alive, using both hands, handing your stuff, but it's like in like the best way possible. I don't know if that makes
Yeah.
sense to some people, but to me, that's like they're changing how freestyle even plays out anymore. I mean, you see it's so easy to notice when you don't see them like reset ever. Like when they're not resetting and everybody else resets. Everyone's like, "Oh, mess up, got to go to
Yeah.
airplane grip, see what we can do again." They don't
Yeah.
do that. They literally just keep the flow alive for as long as possible. It's like resetting is the new miss. It's like
Yeah.
you don't want to do that. Because they don't really do that. I mean, sure, Shinnosuke reset a couple times in the final when he messed up really, really bad. He could not keep the flow, but that's
Yeah.
not usually they usually both keep the flow. And I mean, clearly, like they just got to the finals twice in a row for the past 2 years. Like it was the same final this year and last year. And Shinnosuke won last year, Yasu won this year. It's like, yo, and they both had the finals was crazy this year. It was, I think it was probably better than last year, honestly. Um, it's just you that, and that's just going to show you like they're winning. They're winning. Yasu went to Europe and won, and he did the same exact
Mm,
thing. His strings get tangled. He's just figured out how to control the string better. He's done it enough times, so his movements are more concise. His form's better. His string is
yeah.
therefore not going to be tangled as much. Like he's just doing it more, and like he's not resetting, and he's just practicing that way. I mean, you see him throw up like first try freestyles on his story or his Instagram sometimes, and they're nuts because he just doesn't
Mm,
miss. He just keeps flowing and doing stuff, and usually it's like, oh, I don't want to do string tricks in freestyle because they're not gonna like matter. But dude, they get you into the flow state though. I mean, Kaito does it all the
mm,
time. Kaito does like swirl, spin, spike, and then go.
yeah.
Mess it up, right into a swirl, back to spike. We're already back. You know,
Yeah.
it's really incredible, and that and just you got to take notes at this point. Like these kids are doing something right, and they're changing the game. I think that was just like
Yeah.
one of the best things I took away from this year. I catch them.
I was when I was filming Yasu, one thing that I noticed in the slow motion video that I rewatched like 1,000 times was like
Yeah,
if I were to do like a juggle triple to lighthouse, it would be like a specific trick. It would be like, okay, go, and I miss it. I'm like, all right, fuck, restart, you know? But he went for that specific trick. He was like juggling triple, and then it like barely missed, and then it fell. He yanked it back up, caught it, tossed Tama, boom to thigh, juggled the lighthouse. So it was just seamless, and that's exactly what he does every time. If he misses, it's just he's able to like yank it and then like go back to a thigh and then base cup and then go. You know, like
Yeah.
it, I don't know how his like if I try that though, my string is all wrapped up and then I just naturally like reset. But he doesn't. He just keeps going. You know.
it probably doesn't even feel that like legit to you if you try it. Like to me, it doesn't. To me, it's like I'm still in that mindset of like,
Yeah.
if I mess up once, I got to reset. Like it's got to be clean,
Right.
clean,
Right.
dude.
Right.
It's changing, man. Kendama's changing in a lot of ways, and that's one of them. Especially freestyle. It's actually incredible. We can actually hop towards some of the bad, well, quote unquote, bad calls or whatever. Now we can go to somewhere like the questionable ones. That's actually one of the Instagram questions I got
Yeah.
from I forget, but yeah, I think somebody asked me about Takuya versus Jokbert
Yeah.
and Jokbert versus Nobu. Those two matches
Oh. Yeah.
specifically. So for context, Takuya played Jokbert from Crom in the first round of Catch and Flow. He was the very, very first match. A lot of people thought Takuya won that. I don't know if I'm just more I guess, used to catch and flow now, but I watched them and Takuya was surprisingly missing a lot of spikes. He would do a lot of these taps. He hit a 10 tap in there, which is crazy, but
That's
obviously,
so crazy.
which it is crazy, no matter how you think about it. But I guess the judges are like, oh, that's a 10 tap from Takuya. All right, what else can he do?
Yeah, yeah.
Him. But he was missing like 6 tap jug downs a lot, and I was like, oh, this is weird. I guess Takuya is human sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
So to me, I could see it going either way. It was weird. It was a 3-2. I think it was a 3-2 decision, so it was really close. Because Jokbert, he didn't really do that well either. Like, if I'm gonna be honest, like he didn't really go crazy. But
I thought he went crazy. I thought he spiked a lot.
I think maybe for like a couple seconds. I don't know. I think he did really good against Nobu. Or he did a lot better against Nobu. I don't
And
think in
his
the first
qualifying round is maybe what I'm thinking about too, where he was like crazy combo. Yeah, okay.
Okay. I think Jokbert, yeah, I don't think Takuya or Jokbert did that well in the first round. So I saw it going either way. I wasn't really surprised. Yeah. Obviously, we all know that Takuya, in terms of skill, is miles and miles ahead of Jokbert. But in that round, I guess Jokbert just kind of like had more. It's hard to play him again. It's hard to play that guy in the first round because he can do every creative thing and it's all going to be high points because it's just shit you've never seen before. So that's kind of why I thought, okay, Jokbert won. I could see that happening. And then against Nobu, I saw that one going either way. I really didn't know because Nobu just does the same things except like all the time, like juggle, lighthouse. Like he still does the same stuff. He just does triple sling. Like he just still does. He knows he does the same stuff. He doesn't care. He had like one really sloppy juggle, but saved it. Like somehow saved it, like he always does, and it was super hype at the end. Jokbert did better in this round than against Takuya, but yeah, man, I had somebody comment saying like clearly they both beat Jokbert, but I don't know, just catch and flow now. I mean, I guess creative. I mean, Jokbert, unless you snap against him, it's probably gonna be tough to beat him because even if he misses or stuff and stuff like that, it's probably gonna beat the typical juggle lighthouse trip sling. I mean, Nobu's just done the same thing for many years, so I could see that kind of wearing.
I think especially in the first rounds where the judges haven't seen in this competition yet, in this specific competition, any of the stuff you've been doing. So technically it is fresh, even if people kind of expect it. If it's, I think if it's in the same competition, like if it's a new competition, then everything you do, like that should be perceived as like, oh, okay, nice, new, like that's new, you know? I think it's really hard to play Jokbert in the first round of a freestyle. That's really hard because he hasn't done anything yet and there's nothing to go off of. And so with his very, very, very unique play style, that's just hard to beat because nobody else plays like that. And because of that, nobody can really comprehend what he's doing, which adds extra points because nobody can really even understand what's happening. And if he's spiking it, and that's great. I mean, I still think that Takuya won. Like I watched that match and I was like, that's a tough loss for Takuya, because like I thought he won that, but that's probably because I'm conditioned. I like his play style better than Jokbert's, but Jokbert's is so unique that, I mean, yeah, Takuya obviously missed a lot too. So I think it kind of checks out that Jokbert won just because of the judging system too. They're all, supposedly looking at a micro detail or one specific factor of a performance. When you take all those into consideration, I could see how kind of Jokbert kind of had more of cards go his way than Takuya's, but my preference was like, all right, Takuya killed that. Oh my god, he actually lost. What the hell just happened?
I thought Albert completely won that. And I know I'm considering, because look at the judging system. There's no way Albert is going to lose creativity.
Yeah.
Right? No way. Because Takuya, you know exactly what he's going to do. He's not going to do anything easy, and there's nothing like creative that's like hard, really, Variety, there's no way Takuya's going to lose that, or Takuya's going to win that, because Takuya's going to do taps. I mean, maybe he'll do like a cool like late flip thing, but compared to Albert with variety.
But he's also just doing the same stuff.
No, he's not.
Jokbert?
Yeah, dude. I have so much respect for Jokbert. I know you guys do too, but like, I know everything looks new and crazy, but why wouldn't we consider that all like new tricks, all different tricks? When he goes to like the pointy thingies, and then when he goes with the two hands, those are all separate tricks. I know, like, it's easy to say, oh, this is all new. It's lumped into one thing, but it shouldn't be. I feel like these
That's a
are
good point.
all, yeah, this is all various different tricks, and then he'll hit like a juggle spike,
Yeah,
and
he's good at
and
juggle spikes. That really
yeah,
helps.
like
Honestly.
right. And the thing is that like I've seen Marcus and Adrian, they are great freestyle type players if they can spike. Like for example, like Adrian, if he could spike his tricks, he would do so well because they're really creative, a lot of variety. It's really fun to watch. I know it's not the Gallagher's like favorite. Like you guys, yeah, and I think I have a sense of that too. Of like Takuya, I want to watch him win and do really well, but the creativity aspect and like the new trick aspect, Albert's able to spike his tricks. And so if he's able to spike, he's going to win creativity. He's going to win variety. And then it's like combo. Like, okay, if Takuya does like 100% run or does a really, really good run, like he'll win combo, but he didn't. Like he had a 10 tap and then he would miss a lot. And Albert,
Yeah.
if yeah, I mean, it's just up to like, okay, who can spike more, who hits more tricks. And then that's three things. Like difficulty, Takuya will always win difficulty for the most part, which is it's kind of weird because I know a lot of tricks that Albert can do are actually like it's hard to kind of gauge that difficulty. I mean, I'm not going to say that any of them are harder than a 10 tap, obviously, um, but then what's the last category? Creativity, combo, variety, difficulty, and what else?
Overall.
Overall, yeah, okay, and then that goes either way.
Yeah.
That just goes to the better. So yeah, but it's like if yeah, Takuya has like a run that's not ideal. Albert has like a better than average run. Then Albert's going to win three categories. I'm forgetting if I mean I forgot like if Albert's crazy run was with Takuya or if it was maybe Nobu or the qualifier. But I do distinctly remember watching that again, Albert versus Takuya, and like rewatching it and being like, oh yeah, this like Albert definitely won that.
Yeah, I definitely will say like Jokbert, I don't know if I could see him ever winning a freestyle, but he's definitely hard. He definitely doesn't lose the first round that much. He always
Okay.
like does pretty well. I also will say feel bad for Takuya. I mean, he really kind of shit the bed up there.
Yeah,
If he played like normal, he would have probably won, but we all know
dude.
that. But anyway, that's why Jokbert won. He just spiked more and performed better.
You guys know that I know people already say that Taki is like just a like it seems like an evil character in some kind of movie. Like
I've been saying
yeah, like he shows up to events, not really any friends, by himself. Like the high receipts crew is all together. He just has like his long hair right to his eyes. Like it's a
literally right to his
perfect
eyes perfectly.
dude, like so like a perfect like hype trailer, it's freaking out. But dude, just to add to the storyline of him being an evil character, I shit you not. He lost. I went down like I get okay, so there was the first matches, and then I went down like an hour later, and he was still sitting in a booth staring at himself. Like there was a wall that wasn't quite a mirror, but it was like a reflection type wall, and he just was staring at himself, and you can just see how fucking pissed off he was that he lost.
No
Like I
way.
swear to God, just staring at himself. And people come up and be like, "Hey man, it's all good," and he just like doesn't say anything to them, dude. Just completely like he's gonna come back with fucking
That's
Joker
the type
makeup.
of intensity that we talked about
Yeah,
earlier,
dude.
dude. Who the fuck is
Damn
doing
it.
that?
It gave me goosebumps. I took a sick photo. I'm gonna post it eventually, but I took a sick photo of him looking himself in the mirror. Dude,
Jesus.
it gives me goosebumps, dude. It's
Dude,
so sick.
for a fact he's thinking, wow, I lost to Jokbert.
Yeah,
He's like,
yeah,
Oh,
wow,
he's
I
yeah,
lost
he
to
definitely
that
thinking that.
guy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
yeah.
kill next time. Like, I'm like,
I mean,
no,
I think he also walked into that to maybe being a little afraid of Yasu's creativity and stuff, but walked into that like I could easily win this, and he can.
yeah,
He hits
100%.
his
Yeah.
tricks.
I will say though, Takuya, I don't know, this doesn't really matter that much. I guess his mindset, I know, yeah, he's still like a young guy, so I don't blame him for saying like stupid shit like this. But he was there talking with like his good friends are Maharu at that event,
Yeah,
Maharu Ichi,
yeah.
who's like really tall now. They're like talking, and talking as a C. He's like, guys, I just want to go home already. Like, he's like, guys, I'm
Uh,
not. He's like, I just want to go home. Like, this is just like we're waiting too long. I'm tired. I want to go. And
yeah. He was sick
I'm like, all
too.
right.
He was sick.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
was sick. He was
yeah.
like, said he wasn't feeling that good, and I was just overhearing this. I was like, this is hilarious, but I mean, you're sick. You want to go home, but you could still kick my ass. Like, yeah, like, I'm just sitting there like, wow, nice attitude.
Uh,
Bro. Oh wait, you still stomp all over me. All right, yeah, it's all good. Yeah, good luck out
yeah.
there.
He's like, I just have to be here, kind of.
Yeah, it was weird. It was definitely weird to hear those things from him. Just knowing how good he is, I was like, oh, he'll be fine. Like it's whatever.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it didn't go his way. But yeah, still watching him
Okay.
though. I'm tired. I'm like, I want to go home. But like still watching him, I was like, Jesus Christ, this is like you're still crazy. Like you're still insane.
Yeah.
But that mentality was just a little weird for me to hear. Like literally here right next to me, I was like, damn, bro, like you really don't want to be here right now.
Maybe he's
But
just saving face. Maybe he's not the most confident in freestyle for catching flow, especially because of the creativity and the judges and everything. And it's like, okay, if I do lose, then I kind of have an excuse because he is Sigma, obviously.
I don't know. I don't know. It was weird to hear me. It was weird to hear him say that because I was like, damn, right? You're like, I was like, damn, dude, you're like the best player in the world. Why you gotta be so down right now? But I guess he's just like maybe he was trying to act cool. I don't know. It was just a
Yeah,
weird. It doesn't. I don't know. I don't know. He's still like a high schooler. I can't blame him.
yeah. That's what's weird about it is a lot of these kids are high schoolers, so
you just gotta remember like they're still young.
yeah, they're
So whatever
kids.
comes out of their
Yeah,
mouth, it's like all right, like okay.
yeah.
Got it.
You remember being there, and then you remember also like thinking back, like, oh yeah, I shouldn't have said that, or like, yeah,
Yeah.
that was it. Was you have so much, you have a lot of like hormones, where
100%.
you're not like super rational or logical, but you're just whatever. But yeah.
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 Those are kind of the two matches that were brought up. I didn't really think any other match. I'm gonna be honest with you. I watched all the finals. I thought all the matches, other ones were pretty good.
Yeah.
I
mean, my Ryoga and Maharu was really close. I watched that again, and
it was close,
like
but yeah, I definitely agreed with the judges.
Me
I
too.
you
Me
did with
too.
Maharu. Okay.
Yeah, not
Yeah, I
Maharu for
mean,
sure.
Ryoga just went crazy with those taps of birds like a few times. I'm like, oh my god, he had another one. And but with variety, it's like Ryoga is hitting a lot of taps, and Maharu was hitting like a stall to a tap line to different stuff.
Yeah, Maharu's
So
flowing through different tricks. Yeah, that's a good point.
okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah, and then
Ryoga also missed like triple. He missed quite a bit in one round. He
yeah,
was trying triple tap swap down spike
Yeah,
like
his first
multiple
round.
times. He could not do it, and I was like, Ryoga, what's going on, bro? I'm like,
yeah.
what's going on?
Get
Like,
back,
dude, just
get
be
back.
six. You might hit it if you just try 6 or 8. Screw 3.
Yeah.
Doesn't really change for you, you know.
I went back to watch Shinnosuke, dude, and he
Mhm.
really doesn't get a lot of credit. Like even in my own head, like I don't give him enough credit because I guess it's
I
like
don't know.
his play style is not super showmany. Like,
Yeah,
dude, he hit the sickest line. Like he went to lean house and literally rocked it back and forth. He was rocking it
Yeah.
back and forth like this, and then he spiked it. And I think he lost to Yas. I don't know if he was doing that against. I think he did that against Yasu, but he also did that against against Maharu maybe. So I guess he won that run. But
he tomorrow. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
but that was insane, dude. Like that rocking is so sick. Like I've never seen that before. Like especially on stage.
He also just threw in a quad tap juggle to lean house in a run. He just threw a quad tap jug to lean house, and I was just like, oh, what just happened, dude?
Yeah,
You did not just do that nonchalantly in a line. Like,
yeah. I honestly, I get what you mean by not giving Shinnosuke enough credit. He's clearly made it to capsule finals twice in a year, 2 years in a row. I mean, that clearly just shows you, hey, he knows something about freestyle, right?
Yeah.
Definitely. He does these tricks. He uses both hands. He hands his stuff. He does like magic lighthouse. I don't know if you guys know what that trick is, but he'll do like a crazy juggle line, and it's pretty much just handing. You'll come around, you'll hand it with your thumb, carry it back, go to lighthouse or lunar. It's he's so good at it, so it's just like he can just end anything with that, and it looks crazy.
Yeah. It looks really cool, but yeah, it's super easy.
Yeah, it does look cool. You're essentially handing it though. And so from my perspective, I'm like, okay, this guy's clearly not doing as quote unquote hard of tricks all the time as these other players, but he's definitely spiking and flowing a lot better than everybody else and not quote unquote missing. So it's clearly working for him. And at the end of the day, he's so young still. Like I don't even think he's 14 yet. I think he's like still 12 or 13. And he's just got so many years to keep conquering. So it's just kind of hilarious. He's definitely like I could definitely say Shinnosuke's one of the best in the world now. Like just and he will be. It'll just get better and better. He'll just keep getting better. So yeah.
And I'm rooting for him so hard, man, because he's such a nice kid. Like I talked to him a lot. He said what he could. He's like okay at English, but like at KWC we're like shooting Nerf guns at each other, and like we just had like a kind of special bond. And then I saw him, and he was super happy to see me. And then like the final battle, I know they're kids, but Yasu just is kind of like the bully, like I know Yasu just is this ultra confident kid, but Shinnosuke, I think you can just kind of see on his face that he was a little, I don't know if he was afraid, but he wasn't fully like, it's so hard to take the stage from Yasu. It's so hard.
Yeah.
And he tried, and Shinnosuke did great. He spiked it, went to the judges, blah, blah, blah. But when you have like a guy, like a kid in like Joker makeup going up to you and like
Yeah.
laughing and shoving a camera in your face, like I'm glad that Nobu, the MC, the guy that runs it, he went up to Shinnosuke after. So I felt so bad, And it's so crazy because I wouldn't feel bad if they were adults, if this was like a different football or whatever when people were like being cocky and everything. But like yeah, as my like I don't know, I just felt bad for him because it's so good.
Yeah, and I will say they have so Shinnosuke and Yasu, they have a documentary actually on YouTube about them. It's all in Japanese, so I don't know if a lot of people have seen it or even heard about it. But
Yeah.
it came out like over 3 years ago, and like and this was before any of them were champions. They just had a documentary about them, like these guys are the next up,
Yeah.
and clearly they were right. They
Mm.
were best friends back then. I will say, in recent years, I don't think especially now, I don't think Shinnosuke and Yasu probably talk that much. I don't want to go out and assume I know they're good. I
Mm.
know they're good friends, but it's not like they're talking to each other or hanging out or
Mm.
or rolling with each other every day. Because Yasu clearly is turned into a different person. They're clearly separating on their own ways. I'm not saying to a different person in a bad way. He's just like he's on higher
No,
seats.
yeah.
They're all trying to do
Yeah.
their own thing. You can clearly see on their Instagrams and their personas, which is cool. Shinosuke's still, he's still the happy-go-lucky kid
Mm.
going to school and practicing Kendama as hard as you can. You could clearly see that on stage. Like Yasu's like this literal devil on stage, like laughing in your face. He's like controlling everybody. He's rolling
Yeah.
with it. He's actually killing it. And Shinosuke is like, I can tell that guy's like, he knew he was not the favorite. I could tell. Like
Yeah,
and that one, he was
exactly.
like I have to go against this guy. And in the final round, and he did great in the second round. Shinosuke, he killed it. And then Yasu comes and does that, and I can just tell Shinosuke was like, "Fuck, damn it!
What am I gonna do?
What can you do?" And the camera went in his face. Oh no, that
Yeah,
was great.
I think, dude, that was
great.
nuts. When I saw the video, I didn't think he got him. I didn't think he got his face in it. And when I saw the video, I was like, "Holy shit!" He did not just do
It
that
just
to him.
sucks because I wish this was like Tiger Woods versus like two like adult competitors that I can like
These kids.
fanboy like
The way Shinosuke dressed, the way he dressed too, he like that Adidas
Yeah.
like zip up
Adidas
all the way to
thing,
his neck,
yeah,
all the
sick.
way to his neck. Like he was like, all right, like you just tell he's just like this kid. He's like, let's go, like
Yeah.
let's go, guys. And like he's crazy at Kendama, but man, you just played the devil, and the devil just kind of came and murdered everyone.
It was like a Bible story, basically.
It was cool.
Like the
It was cool. I don't know if anybody has seen Hunter, the anime.
No, I heard about it.
People kind of like talk about Shinosuke and Yasu as like Gon and Killua
No
as
way! I gotta watch that, bro. That's sick.
as like a matchup.
I can
like
see it.
obviously Gon is Shinosuke, and Killua,
Yeah.
who's like an assassin, is Yasu. I've seen that comparison before. Yeah, man, it was like good versus evil up there, and it was cool too because I'm pretty sure Yasu was red and Shinosuke was
That's
blue.
so sick.
So
Yeah. Dude, that documentary. So one time I was bored and I went on YouTube and I typed in the Kendama kanji like onto YouTube and then it's all these Japanese Kendama videos, which it's like amazing to watch because it's just like random videos that are popular that you never would have found just by typing in Kendama. And then I came across that documentary and it is one of the best videos. It's like I can't recommend any video more. Like even edits or whatever. Like that documentary is incredible because you learn so much about the Japanese culture. It's so cool from like a dad masculine perspective of like pushing their kids in a healthy way or not so healthy way, whatever, however you look at it. what their dads mean to them, what they mean to each other. They say really nice things about each other. Uh, and it's all about Kendama and like competition in Kendama. It's incredible. And they talk about like, oh, that was a sick run that you had at Catch and Flow. I really wish I won. Oh, you had a crazy KWC run. That was amazing. And
Mhm.
like, it's such a good video. I've seen it a few times. I need to see it again, but I highly recommend for everyone to watch that. Um, but yeah, like if Yasu wasn't there, Shinnosuke would be the guy, I think. I think with the tricks that he did, how smooth he was, um, it would be like, oh, Shinnosuke is the best. And he did win. He beat Yasu last year, so he was the dude. But since Yasu with this year with EKC, everybody being hyped up about him, and then him just like destroying this year, like Shinnosuke, yeah, is second place. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one thing that going back to what we were talking about previous to what you said of the documentary, which by the way, we're gonna link that in the description for anybody to check
Mm,
out. I haven't watched it myself actually, so that gets me really excited to watch it.
it's amazing,
Um,
dude.
when Yasu, I mean Shinnosuke, I think Shinnosuke, what you said earlier, like going up to the crowd, he did really well. He did so well, except for the fact that it sucks because when Yasu laced all of his things in the second run, and I looked at Shinnosuke and I felt for him because you could see the defeat in his eyes because Yasu already has the crowd, and when he does something like that where he takes the camera and does something that was legitimately super hype, I mean, you could just kind of see him, dude. And that was actually even worse too. But when this definitely rubbed me the wrong way a little bit, just because I know how I would be feeling when Yasu went up to Shinnosuke after he won, not really even showed his face, but like kind of went like this selfie mode and was like put his arm around him, was like, "Yo," like you could see Shinnosuke being like thinking like, "All
Get
right,
this away from
what the
me.
hell? Like what the hell's happening, dude? Like that's the last dude. If I'm like if Shinnosuke, that's the last thing he wants to be doing. Like, hey, let's celebrate. Like Yasu just fucking popped off and like everybody's so high. Like you could see, but even Shinnosuke was like actually a really good sport about it too, because even though you could tell he definitely didn't want to do that, he still did one of these. Like he did one of these where he kind of like did like a salute to the camera or something, just
Yeah,
like
yeah.
for the video. But I was like, I felt for him there because I was like, dude, that's the last thing that kid wants to do right now. Just get in this video with Yasu, the guy who just most like just beat him. And like Shinosuke knew he beat him. Shinosuke knew that like Yasu just beat him too. You could see it on his face. Like
Mm.
I was like,
Kind of
wow.
before the match, you can kind of see Shinnosuke's face. He was like, "I'm gonna do my best," and he did really good. But this entire run, he was like, "This is gonna be really hard." And dude, no matter what, if you watch that with how hyped the crowd was and what Yasu did, it's so hard to see Shinnosuke. The judges going to Shinnosuke. I mean, you can argue trick by trick. Shinnosuke had great tricks, but I think Shinnosuke can kind of feel that, like he can feel that it doesn't matter what I do, like with
Yeah.
how Yasu
You can tell.
plays.
Yeah, you can tell like he's going up against like walls, he has to get
Yeah,
over. They're just blocking
yeah.
him in. Um, I mean, he did it as best as anyone could against Yasu, but what Yasu did was pretty extraordinary. I mean, it was first time ever in history what he did, and you really
Mm,
just can't not give him the win. I mean, he
no.
dressed up as a Joker, but also did the GoPro thing in the final. Bro, he brought energy like nobody else has ever brought it. So
Yeah.
it was just a little tough that had to happen against Shinosuke, but I mean, hey, like I said, Shinosuke, right? Like he's 13 or something. I don't know how old he is. He's super young. He's got so many more years left.
Mm,
And I will say that documentary, actually, yeah, never mind. There's English subtitles, so anybody can watch it.
yep.
Um, I will say, yeah, as people grow older too, just naturally, sometimes like you will separate from a particular good friend you had in the past. Just natural the way it is. Everyone can probably relate to that. So yeah, Shinosuke and Yasu, they're still definitely rivals, still definitely good competitors. Good, they're friends, but they're probably just not as close as they were in that video. But it's kind of cool
Mm.
though. They kind of were chosen, and they both have had massive success so far. And they're taking their own paths right now. So it's pretty incredible, and they've still got so many years left. So who knows what they're going to do next? I want to kind of. You guys want to talk about little top 10, little
Yeah,
top
I was
10.
gonna say, speaking of which, of how these really good players, let's segue into the top 10 list because that's I know that's something we all want to talk about. And Isaac actually, someone asked me, let's just start with you because a lot of people ask me like, oh, like Isaac always does these videos, but he never really has given his take.
Yeah.
So yeah, do you want to kind of list them off one by one from 10, or it's
Yeah.
however you want to do it?
Yeah, I can do that. and I want to say like I think the way that I rank, I might change my mind in the future, but the way that I rank is based off of tricks that they can do, tricks that the player can do, and like how consistent they are with the trick. Like comps for me is a way to test those two things. So like I do look at comps, it's important, but it's only to test those two things, which is how consistent you are and what tricks you've done. And like the example of this is Tablex, right? Because like if he did go to an event, he would do really well. And I think he got third online KWC. You can see how consistent he is. You can see how consistent he is in his add-ons and how good he is like in his Instagram. So he is like top for me. But I can't point to comps for that, but that's because I don't necessarily look at comps. I look at tricks that have been done and then how consistent they are at those tricks. So for me, like I can look at, I was thinking about like number one of all time or number one right now. That's also a thing that I was kind of deciding between. But it doesn't really make sense to look at like all time because I don't think Takuya, like, yeah, maybe 2017 was different, but right now Takuya is the best of all time. And so that's my number one is Takuya with his like tricks that he can do, with how consistent he is. You saw that at KWC, him winning twice in a row. I don't really need to argue for that. Like, yeah, Takuya's number one. Two is Nick because it's so hard because a lot of these other players, especially Japanese players, I don't exactly I know that they're up there, but it's hard to say what they can actually do because they don't post a lot. Some of these players just don't. I can't really tell how good they are besides looking at like a KWC run, you
Yeah.
know. But Nick, I can see your skill level not only from what you've won. I mean, you got fifth last year. You got fifth in KWC this year, but also you haven't posted in a while recently, but you've been posting like all throughout your
Hey,
Kendama career.
you forgetting about Kendamanomics? I posted a video.
I know. But like, February comes along and we know from both of you, we're going to see insane tricks. We're going to see how consistent you guys are at like specific stilt tricks, how consistent you are. Like I remember, just something that comes to mind is you're 28. I think it was Nick that you did a crazy run that like impressed everybody that like you realize how good you are, Nick, and then you end it with just like a juggle trip late spike. And you can just kind of tell like how easy it is for you. And that's like that's how like someone like me can get a good sense of where they rank compared to other players. So like, yeah, I haven't seen a lot out of Nick recently, like besides NAKO or KWC. But you won NAKO last year, right? Open division.
Hey, let's not forget this year online performance. Let's
Yeah,
go.
dude, I did not mention that. Yeah.
Well deserved this seed for catch and flow because of that.
Let's go.
So 3 is Tablex.
Yeah.
Consistency, yes. He hasn't been in many comps, so it's really hard to judge consistency, but you get a good feeling off of the KWC and then just the way he plays. But yeah, tricks, I think he's there's a lot of trick concepts that he has pushed so hard where it's hard to see Nick or Takuya even get close. I'm speaking like Nick as if he's not here, but like the stunt fast trick that he did for Todi. Like I don't think Takuya is on the level of stunt fast pullouts. I don't know what you guys think, but
I agree with you.
that's insane to
No,
do
that
that
was-
without extra juggles. Like, and I feel like there's a few concepts like that Tablex has that is really far ahead. So 4 for me is Mahdi. He got second in KWC. Yeah, his trick range is insane. He can do a lot. I think he has string pinches.
He also has the best KWC track record I've ever seen.
Yeah,
Mahdi?
yeah,
He's gotten
Yeah.
podium what, 3 times?
yeah,
Yeah,
for
like,
sure.
stupid. Yeah, maybe 4
Um,
times.
Yeah.
5 is Alex. Yeah, a lot of tricks, very consistent. You can see that in his a lot of like American events, Battle and Echo. He's won a lot. He got the top. He's super good at border balances, but also just taps and everything. Like a lot of tricks that he can do.
Yeah.
6, I have Yasu. So Yasu's kind of unique because he Yeah, you have to go back to his. I think it's KWC 2020 to see how good and consistent he is at these advanced tricks. But when you go back to that, you can see that, and I think he's still at that same level. He hasn't stopped playing ever. He just hasn't really shown anybody like his top level. I guess I can go back to his KWC performance. I don't know if he got top 15 at KWC this year. Do you guys know? I
Oops,
know
sorry.
Yasu. If what place he came in?
He
got
got
top.
he got 12.
Okay, yeah. So
I
yeah,
know because he finished one above me.
yeah. And then yeah, and then obviously Yasu with consistency is insane. You see that on
Oh my
freestyle
God,
stage. Yeah. He's I think one of the best at consistency. I have Edwin as 7. That might be like unique, but he did get first NAKO online. Uh, he's moving up the ladder. He's placed a lot on comps. I think left hand is important, and it's going to be more important the next 5 years of Kendama. He's so far ahead of everybody left-handed, I think. 8. So Canada, you know, I am kind of so I have like honorable mentions. I have Johnny, Dylan, and Shinnosuke as honorable mentions. I can
Yeah.
kind of switch them out with that's when it kind of gets tricky. But yeah, I mean, he got second KBC 2022. Um, yeah, I don't see a lot of them. I see him at KWC. He doesn't post that much. 9, I have Zack. Uh, Zack, you post for sure, but I still Zack is it's weird because you'll win the event. You won Battle of the Border 23. Um,
It's weird because you'll win.
yeah, it's not weird
thanks,
because
bro.
but
No,
it's
I'm
like
kidding.
yeah, like yeah. When I think about your tricks, I don't know, Zach. What do you think? Like in terms of specific concepts, do
I
you
know what
think?
he's trying to say. I know what he's trying to say.
I know what he's
Yeah,
trying
I
to
don't know
say
how
too.
this is
Just
coming
say it.
out.
Just say it. Just
I don't even know what I'm trying to say. I have no idea.
I do.
I know what you're trying to say.
But
What do you mean? What do I think? What do I think about what?
what do you think about um
Like how I stack up?
yeah, but also in terms of like, again, I look at like the amount of tricks that you can do and how consistent you are. I know you're consistent, right? But the amount of tricks that you can do, like your range of tricks, do you think that stacks up with the other 10?
Well, look, I mean, we can get to my top 10 in a second, but I don't actually think I'm a top 10 player. I think
Okay.
at the beginning of this year, you could put me in there. Like, I think at the beginning of
Yeah.
this year, like, I mean, because to be honest with you, like my playing frequency has gone down this last half of 2023. In the beginning of the year, it was different. Like I was, yeah, you could put me in there. But right now, like I would say, like for me, knowing myself and seeing all this greatness happen and all these amazing players over in Japan and yeah, over here as well with Edwin and Alex too. It's like I think for myself, it'd be like naive of me to know like what my playing frequency is now, my filming frequency, all this stuff to put me in the list for top 10. Obviously, I'm a good player, like of course, but I think my trick
Yeah.
variety is in that specifically. I mean, it's gonna as far as everybody else goes, like no, like I can't. I've never really even chased like can we even call them new tricks right now? Can we even call them new
Yeah.
tricks?
Yeah. Pinch. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never really chased. I mean, I did spend a lot of time getting the basic of pinch down. Like it took me hours to get the basic down. But as far as everything else, like goons, loops, cloud bounces. I mean, it's known. Like I don't. I've never put time into those. I've never put time into those. My trick variety is less,
Yeah.
I'd say.
Yeah. Yeah. But
Players, yeah.
I guess what I'm trying to say, Zach, is like it's kind of weird because your consistency's there. You won battle last year. That's it. That's a huge point, right? But
Yeah.
uh, maybe I could do a better job of looking back at your older posts. But yeah, it's like the variety. I'm not sure. Um,
I think are you trying to
because
say
that
that Zach clearly doesn't
I
like his tricks aren't top 10 level, but his track record and everything else kind of is.
yeah, but it's more, and a lot of these players, it's just like my lack of knowledge. Like I remember playing, I'll play you guys in Ken, and then you'll just hit like wing, trip, jug, back to wing, like first tee, like around that. And then it's like, okay, you guys have all these tricks that are so hard, so consistent, but I never see that on Instagram because
Yeah.
you guys just wouldn't post it, because you guys have it so far down from like 2017 that it's so easy for you that that's why like it's hard for me to like prove why Zack is in the top 10, but it's more just a feeling. And then, but no, Zack, if you win battle this year, or even if you podium, you should be top 10. Like, it's insane with how much, yeah, with how much you've won. And then 10th, I have Maharu. Maybe it's a little biased by this, but he got
No,
third
that makes sense.
KWC.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
third KWC. Yeah, I guess maybe it's just I don't know if it's Japanese players or just some of these players in general. Like Maharu posts a decent amount, but it's hard to really like for me to actually judge all of them. I would need to like okay, do like I give them dares and they all try the dare in a row, and then I can see like okay, so hit that. Maharu didn't hit it, you know. But yeah, then I have three
So
honorable
funny.
mentions
That's awesome.
that
That's
I
awesome.
can push in there is Johnny Dillon and Shinnosuke. I had Dylan Westmoreland in there for a sec, but because he has a lot of variety with like steadfast and everything, but I don't know how consistent he is. Compared to everybody, he's incredibly consistent, but compared to the top 10, it's hard. So yeah, that's my 10.
Nice. All right,
How
Zach.
long was that difficult for you to come up with?
Not really. I just kind of like these 13 players. I could, by the way, I did this like 2 hours ago, so I could totally be missing someone's name and just like, oh my God, like he should be totally up there. But I think, yeah, he or she. I mean, I thought about Misu as well, because of her balance skill. But yeah, like no, unless I'm missing somebody super obvious, and then I'll like hear you guys will say it, then I'll be like, oh, shit, I totally missed that. But I think that, yeah, I think maybe specific rankings are difficult, but I think that's basically top 10, 13.
Okay.
Yeah. I actually don't think you missed. Like, I was kind of thinking too when I was making my list again. Well, I guess I really never made a list because even when we talked about it on our interview, I didn't even think I finished because I was just like, oh, it's hard for me to come up with this.
Yeah.
Like even when I was thinking about that too. I was like, oh, okay, like I wonder if I'm gonna miss anybody. But after hearing yours, I don't think I did. I'll just go from 1 to 10. And adds to the back half of this list, it kind of gets a little like funky. Like I'm not 100% confident. All right, number one, Takuya. That guy's goated. Like, obviously, like he's doing stuff that's incomprehensible. I like to tell people this. Like I'm recently moved into a house of people. I don't live near any Kendama players except for well, actually I do, but I don't live with any Kendama players anymore. Like I used to live with a lot of Kendama players, and we kind of just I mean everybody kind of knows what's up. But like I'm trying to explain to people here who I'm living with, like because I've showed people like Takuya and like high level like the highest level players. And I'm trying to explain to them like in other sports comparisons, like all right, because like they see me and they're like, oh my god, like Zach, you're like the LeBron of Kendama. And I'm like, please use a different NBA player. Please use a different player. Please don't use him. Like, like if you want to see like LeBron, if you want to see like a the high, like super high level player, check this dude out. And they're like, oh, that's insane. I'm like, I'll give you like I'll try and make this easy to understand for you. I've been playing for 12 years and I can't even comprehend what this dude's doing because I literally can't. Like, Taki's doing stuff I literally don't know. I don't know what's happening. Like, I can conceptualize it, but I'm not even close to his level. Like, he's in a different realm. He's in a different realm of skill. It's not like oh yeah he's like better than me. No, he's in a different realm than like the high level players. Like he's literally that far ahead. Give or like with the exception of maybe 3 players. He's that far ahead. So
and he posts a lot, so it's easy to see. If like everybody posted as much as to Takuya, it would be way easier to rank these. But some people don't. You only see him at KWC, but you see Takuya post like that recent inward lunar tap thing.
Oh my god,
incredible!
Oh my god,
and then
beautiful.
And then you see the KWC winnings. So yeah,
so it's easy. For number 2, I put Tiblex. Just amazing. His playing frequency seems to have gone down. He's definitely seems like he's taken a more chiller approach to Kendama. I've kind of seen him post in comments and I've seen stuff on his Instagram. It seems like he's focusing elsewhere right now, but of course that doesn't take away from the fact that he's also years and years and years and years ahead. So so I put him at number 2. It's pretty much a no-brainer for me. It would be nice to see him go out to different competitions, but for whatever reason, he's not making it out. I don't know why, but
his parents, he's gonna be like the best surgeon in Romania.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there's that. I actually had a feeling it was his parents. I just didn't want to say like, yeah, I think it's his parents, but yeah, I've heard that too.
But it's also him. I think he wants to be like a surgeon. So
yeah, 100%. Number 3, I got Madi, especially after watching Nick's recap of Pop Swag. I was like, all right, dude, And I got to thinking about it. Okay, he's gotten podium at Kaito C at least 3 times, maybe four if you count on like
Right.
if you're online. Like yeah, probably I think actually four. I think. Um, and yeah, man, that says a lot. That says a lot. And you're looking at this dude's trick variety. Literally, it's endless. He's literally just coming up with shit for fun,
Yeah.
which is really hard to do. Which is super hard to do. Like come up with anything new. Um, his consistency, uh, consistency, comp performance, and overall, what I like to really gauge like overall skill level. And I know it's very hard to measure. It's kind of I gotta
Yeah.
go on feeling. I mean, I've also known Marty for a long time. Like I've also
Mhm.
known I don't know him just through Instagram clips. I've seen him play in person for years. So it's just like
Yeah.
I've seen his growth also, and I've known so it's really amazing to see. I put him at third just because of everything he's capable of, which is a lot. He would be definitely in contention for number two if Taki and Tiplex weren't like literally just on a different realm of skill.
Yeah.
But I did shout out Madi though because he actually beat Taki at Pop Swag this weekend, which I know is just like a
Yep.
Ken comp, but like on steroids. But hey, that takes a lot of skill, and he literally destroyed. Like, so huge props to him. And from this right now, from this point onwards, I'm literally going off of what my perception is right now, based on things I know, based on things. So like, I'm just gonna say this right now, like I don't have Nick until like number six or like
Mhm.
number five. Like
Mhm.
maybe like I don't know number six. Actually, I have number six on my screen right here, which is
You're right.
really interesting because like I had I mean Nick whatever. Anyways, I'll get to that later. Number four, Ryoga. What I've seen this kid do in the past
Dude,
6 months, what I've seen this kid do in the past 6 months, and hold on,
I don't know,
I
Isaac,
man.
no. Like, look, I would put Nick here. I would put Nick right here, honestly. And I would put Nick at number three in like 99% of cases. But I'm just going off. This is like a fresh from my mind after everything I've seen from the past month or two of competitions and Instagram posts. And even back to actually summer, because that's when I really saw these people like Ryoga and Maharu really pop off in person again after so long. I just like refresh my memory. I was like, holy shit. I'm putting Ryoga here because dude, this kid's doing stuff that's like it's like you joke about. I say that about
Mm.
Takuya too. I say that about Takuya. It's like it's the classic. Like imagine like a group of friends of all playing Kendama like here in the United States and like just session be like, oh my god, imagine if you
Mm.
did Ken jug 10 tap jug Ken jug and reward balance. Oh my god, that'd be
Yeah.
crazy. Dude, he posted that. Dude, he literally did that trick.
I don't want to
Kentabs.
interrupt, but I literally was with him playing for a full day, and there were dares in my head that I just was like, for Kendamanomics style, just like imagine, you know? And he would hit it so easily, dude. Dude, I literally went up to him and I had to translate, and I was like, eight tap, jug eight late, jug eight tap. He didn't hit it, but like he was getting way too close, like within 5 minutes.
Are you
He
actually
was
serious?
throwing,
That's
yeah, I swear to God, dude, his eight late was going three times, like the Ken and the Tama. He was catching it, and then he spoke in Japanese. He's like da, 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 and then like he's like, oh, let me see the slow mo. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, okay, go back. And then like he had to go like do some event thing, but like he was literally that close. It like and yeah,
well, that's what I'm saying.
nuts,
Like
bro.
this kid is doing stuff that's on a consistent basis that's literally practically unheard of. And the only reason we've heard about it is because of Takuya. And this dude's and like what really surprised me, I knew that this kid was amazing going into Japan this year at the World Championships, but it wasn't until I played with him at Nothing But Kendama in Osaka and Itami in person where I literally was like, oh my God, wait, no, like this kid's a top high level. Like this kid's a
Yeah,
top tier player because he's doing stuff like in my mind, I'm like, all right, he's really good at like taps, jugs, Ken flips. All right, nice, dude. No, he did quad stilt both ways over rally, like quad stilt both ways in front of my face. And when he did that, I'm like, all right, dude. Because when you can
yeah,
do quad stilt both ways in person,
yeah,
that I automatically know you can do like a handful of other tricks that I like
right.
that just push your like the every top player like is gonna have these tricks and like that pretty much did it for me. I was like, all right, dude, this kid's something else. Like this kid's actually different. Like he's a different breed. Plus he's like 13. So like that was really did it for me. So seeing everything Ryoga's been posting, his I know his competitions hasn't been like great. He hasn't also he was only under like what two because he's in
Yeah.
Japan. He's 13. KFC did all right, but like in Captain Flow he did decent as well. But I mean, just the pure skill this dude has is unlike is very top. It's top contender. Like he's right up there with Tiblex, Takuya, and Madi. Like actually, I go as far to say like, dude, I trust Ryoga to hit more harder tricks than Madi in front of my face. I actually
Yeah.
I actually think I would expect that from him. Going on to number five, so that's why I put Ryoga up there. That's just amazing what I've seen from him in recent, and I know he's just going to keep tearing it up. But everything up till now has really proved to me that he's the top contender. Um, Number five, I actually do want to put Nick here. I actually had Maharu above Nick on this one, but just because in the recent activity that Maharu's like been doing. But actually, the more I think about it, I'm putting Nick definitely above Maharu. Um, Nick doesn't really need an explanation. Nick has probably the greatest legacy of Kendama, and not probably. Nick has the greatest legacy in Kendama history. It's
Yeah.
not actually close at all. It's really not close, and I don't even know if it'll ever be matched, to be honest, just because that's almost impossible.
Mm.
It's just because and the fact that I mean, it's just amazing that I even have Nick at number five because I've played with Nick, for all years of my life, and some people would come up to me. Some people would come up to me. I remember this really insensitive person come up to me and be like, "Do you realize how crazy it is that you're like, how does it feel to be Nick's brother?" And I was just like, dude. And then some people would be like, "Do you even know how good? Like, do you know how good he is?" And I was like, yo, like I play with this dude in person every single
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
So if you can imagine, like, if you guys have an high opinion of him, like, imagine what he's doing behind the scenes. Not posting on
Right.
Instagram,
Right.
not
Right.
nothing. Like, I see that shit. Like
Yeah.
I see everything. Like, so I've always had the highest opinion of Nick for so long, since 2017 to up to now, of course. Like, but to have him as number five on this list is just, I think it's just a reflection of how advanced, how incredible the progression is nowadays, which is amazing. This is We're really reaching an upper echelon of a transition period, I think, in terms of general skill, because that is created by these Japanese players, because we have more and more and more players who are doing tricks that are I'm just gonna keep using it, that you would literally just fucking joke about, dude. That you
Mm.
would just joke about. You have random Japanese, like I'm just gonna say random because they pretty much are kind of random. Random Japanese kids hitting 12 tab. Six and that's going to be a reflection of their skill, because if you can do 12 tab, you can do a ton of other tricks at a high level. Because that's just what it is. Like their form for 12 tab has to be good, and that form is going to translate to a ton of different things. But I have Nick there because I know what Nick's capable of, and even though like I just know. I don't actually have to explain it. I just know. Like I just know what he's capable of, and I've seen it for years, and yeah, it's special. So yeah, I put Nick at number five, and you could easily put Nick at in terms
Thank
of
you.
yeah, no problem, dude. I fucking love you so much. I love you so much, bro. Number six. This is number six. I'd have to say I'm just gonna keep moving Maharu down. Sorry, Maharu, but you're still in my top
Damn,
10.
bro.
Um, I'm putting Alex Mitchell over Maharu. I think Alex is the best player in the United States as of this moment. I think the best American player is Nick, but in the United States, of course, like right at this moment, like Alex Mitchell, I think is the best. He's done amazing things. He plays a lot. I think. I mean, even though maybe he says otherwise sometimes. I think in the interview he did with you, he said he doesn't
Yeah.
really play. Um, Calling bullshit on that one, to be honest. But yeah, like I mean, has an amazing comp record. He's been consistent for years. This dude. I mean, this dude's playing more than most other players. How could he retain a linear progression of skill? Like he's
Yeah.
amazing. He can do his trick variety's huge, and he loves Kendama. I can tell his skill, overall skill and comp record speak for himself, dude. He can win an open division, he can win a freestyle division. So, and he's done
Yeah.
both numerous
Yeah.
times. So, I'm gonna put him there. And plus, when you take in the factor of his Instagram tricks and edit tricks, yeah, man, just it's no
Yeah.
brainer. This as the top 10 player for sure. It's actually inarguable. So, after that, I'm gonna put um this one's a toss up for me. Um, I'm kind of stuck here between Edwin and Maharu. I like them both. I think Edwin is actually one of the players who in my eyes is playing on the intensity, or maybe not on the intensity, but the same frequency as Japanese players. We're talking about
Mm.
hours.
Yeah.
This dude literally, as far as I know, he moved into Caleb to Portland, and he's been playing. I think he works like one day a week, and he's been doing that. I don't know about recently, but I know about now, but recently I think that's what he was doing. At least that's what I heard, and I think that's what he's told me. And he playing Kendama just hardcore, which you can definitely see it reflected in his play, dude. You see the tricks he's doing; it's just insane. And you stack that on top of his ability with his left hand. That's just a reflection of countless hours in the game, and and it's not even about hours. It's the tricks. I mean, it is about hours, but it's also the tricks he's doing. Ridiculous, like goon tricks that only he's able to do. You're looking at competition. He's really found his stride. He got second at Battle at the Board at the start of the year. He just won Neko Online. He got just won the Spotown Throwdown, which actually had quite a few high level players at, I'd say, and he's done really well for himself. So I put him at the at yeah, at the top.
Semi.
The reason I don't say intensity is because he's more of like a happy go. He's more of like a happy player, like chill, like yeah, let's sesh, like kind of like sporadic.
Yeah.
The intensity from Japanese players is definitely more. It's more you could feel it. I mean, like Takuya
Yeah.
sat
Yeah.
down for like an hour afterwards. That's pretty
Yeah.
much all you need to say. And whereas like Edwin's like going up and hugging me and like after every single exchange in Bout the Board 2023, like
Yeah.
there's like two extremes.
It's like more positive energy from Edwin.
Yeah,
You know,
100%. More like,
like
oh, like let's go, like let's
yeah.
like yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
I put an Edwin there. I probably put, and this is these bottom three is kind of just when I'm like, ah, shit, like I don't really know who to put. But I'll tell you just all three of them: Maharu, Yasu, and sleeper pick Hiroto from Sulab. What's good? Hiroto. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, dude.
Hiroto Sulab Pro Team. Look him up on Instagram right now.
I love the
Hot
username
take.
Sulab.
As a hot
I mean,
take.
I have to know him.
He's insane.
Nick, what do you Nick, do you think that's crazy of me to say that? I just can't.
How I'm gonna rank my top 10 is different than both yours, I think.
Okay. Well, I'm going off right now.
No, I know. I just think for me, competition plays a huge part now,
Yeah.
especially now. But
Yeah.
Hiroto has won one competition, which by the way,
He actually won Spike Fest.
He actually won Spike for Life, held
My
by
bad.
Spike for Life,
in
dude.
April, and he actually beat Taki in the finals, and it was crazy.
Yeah.
But his tricks are, I mean, the ones that I've seen on Instagram are not crazy.
The way he plays is super
The way
clean. Like
okay, well,
nice.
okay, well, hold on, because I just actually so I put Hiroto in there, but number 10, I literally couldn't think of a number 10. I had 9 players on my screen for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So I actually don't know who I'd put. I put So down there in a sec too, but I just know So doesn't like. And it doesn't even matter how much people play now. It's just obvious how many people like how much you play. Like I don't even care. It's just how good you are at this moment. Like So's really good, but I mean you could put So there. You could put So there too. Like I don't know. I just know that my 8 and 9 would be a toss up between Yasu and Maharu. I put like Yasu's definitely. I put Yasu in there for sure because I don't know how I couldn't. Maharu, I'd still consider like a sleeper pick just because he's not.
It's hard with Maharu.
Yeah, it's hard with Maharu because I know he's good at competition. He's done well. He's done great at catch and flow online. He's done great at World Cup in person, right? Or online or both.
I mean, the only reason that I put him up there,
World Cup online.
third KWC this year.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So
it's like,
yeah, he did amazing. And he got like third again in World Cup online 3 years ago. Like you could see this like in the competition speak for them, speak. So I'll put Maharu in there, Yasu, and then honestly, dude, my number 10 is a toss up because you could put a lot of people in that spot. And I really, I wasn't really even sure who to put. Like my mind was bouncing. I was like, I literally couldn't even think of who to put in there. That's why I put Hiroto. And actually, now that I'm speaking it out loud, I think he needs to do a little more to earn a top 10 spot. I think he has the potential. I think what I was looking at was the potential because this dude, the way he plays, his form, some of the tricks he's done. And I know you just glimpsed at his account, but his tricks are like some of his tricks are really like insane. That I'm like,
all right, I'll check it. I'll go deeper. I just saw his recent post.
Yeah, but other than that, like I don't know. I had 9 players in my head, and then for the 10th one was hard to fill. But So has a very, very, very big accolade and achievement belt. So. And he's still really good. I love his plays out, man. His form's amazing. But yeah, maybe number 10 for me is a little you could it's a toss up. But yeah, that's my top 10 and the reasons behind that.
Nice.
Damn.
Right, I'll get into my top 10 now.
Can I go pee real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Actually, all right, guys. While he's away, it's kind of funny. I have myself. You were like, I'm just gonna put Nick at 5 or something. Dude, I have myself at like the lowest out of both.
You have
guys.
yourself
like,
at 10?
No, not 10. but I mean, I'm just kind of looking towards the future, and I'm kind of basing mine off of who's playing the most right now.
Well, dude, that's what I was kind of thinking too.
Who's going to eclipse me in the future? Even if some of these players aren't fully better than me right now, I just know myself, and I agree with you. I mean, you can kind of tell that both of us, like I also have played less ever since like 6 months ago. Kind of just been focusing on my different things and different ways I want to take my life. I'm definitely not Xing out Kendama. I'm clearly still going to events. I'm clearly still playing every day. It's my job. I have to play, I still love Kendama. It's just like different things are happening in my life right now. And I just know and I know I'm not playing like I used to. Like I'm not going crazy, right? I'm
Yep.
not going crazy like in 2018, 2019, 2020. I was still playing a lot 2021, still playing a lot in 2022. This time last year, I was going, well, right before I moved to Japan, I was going nuts still. I just know myself. Like I know myself and I know the paths that are going to be taken, I think. And that's why I'm like, if I'm still better than some of these players right now, like overall in my head, which I do think, it's okay because like they're playing a lot more than me. So they're just more on point than me and they're going to get better than me in like probably in the future. So that's where I'm going to stack in my top 10.
Can I just respond to in regards to Nick, especially about Zach's top 10? There's something about Nick. Again, it's funny that I'm like speaking out of like third person, but like this is for me. That's why he's third, and why I'm not sure Ryoga's up there. Is that there's a thing with like specific like one-off tricks, especially when it comes to not new gen, like more old school tray flips or specific trades to stalls or swaps that I feel like Nick has, if not better than most people on this top 10, but maybe better than everyone. Like I can't imagine. I'm trying to think of like a maybe 1, 2, 3 tray, like lunar tray. Like Nick, do you know how long? Could you hit that first tee? Could you hit that super quickly?
I don't know about, I definitely couldn't hit it first try, but I mean, I've always been pretty decent at trays. So I think I can
Yeah,
hit
there's
it.
like these specific one-off tricks that I feel that you have so consistently that other players don't have. Like I feel like when I think about Nick's tricks, there's like these really unique specific things that's why I have him third, and why I don't like Ryoga. Yes, the new gen stuff, and like it's exactly what you're talking about with like the four still. Like you don't know if they have a crazy new gen game, but do they have like literally pull up still, no juggles? Can you do a quad? And like I
Yeah,
guess
like
Ryoga can,
swaps,
right?
no jugs, like swaps, jug back. Like,
Yes, and that's something that I know Nick has that I'm not sure Ryoga has. I mean, it sounds like Ryoga does have it, unfortunately, but that's where like I would really like be critical of these new players and more defensive of someone like Nick because of those type of like just kind of more traditional Kendama tricks uh that it takes so long to get consistent at.
Right. No, I appreciate that. I know your mindset. And obviously top 10s we can do like a lot of different ways to do a top 10. Like there could
100%.
be even top 10 like legacy player. Like I don't know, whatever. There's a lot of different ways to look at it and spin it. My
Yeah.
top 10 consists of people who are kind of doing the best right now and kind of rising up the most out of where I've seen. And this past year, I mean, I speak from a place as well. Like I'm not playing as much as I used to, not trying grinding as hard as I used to. Clearly, I didn't film a trick for 8 months since March until a couple weeks ago, right? It's not that I don't like Kendama. I love Kendama. It's just I'm just not in the same headspace with it as I was or
Yeah.
used to.
Yeah.
Um, just different things happening in my life, different things I want to do. I'm still going to events though, right? I'm still participating. I want to participate for as long as possible. The top 10 people I'm about to list, even if they're not better than me in all aspects overall, it really sounds unfair for me to say like if they kept rising up, right, placing in comps, rising up at the highest level, which is Japan, by the way. There's no higher level than this. If they keep rising up and keep playing and keep posting and keep doing crazy stuff in person, it'd be unfair for me to say, oh yeah, but I guess I'm more overall and I guess I have a better track record. I guess I'm more overall, like I can do more tricks than you. So I'm better. Like I just feel like, and especially at the rate I play now, like I know, like I'm not playing as much as I used to. So it just feels, I know these players are working a lot harder than me. So I know they're either going to be surpassing me very soon, or they're already just more on point than I am. Which is kind of what I've noticed this past year. It's like beating Japan around like some of these best players in the world. It's like whoa, like there's just a new level. Like this is just like a new level to compete against the best, the Japan. Clearly, I haven't been able to win over here yet. There's only a couple comps, but they're all huge. And yeah, I got fifth at World Cup, which is I was pretty proud of that. but clearly there's 4 people who wanted it way more and were smarter about it. And yeah, they're all Japanese. So I'm just gonna go into my top 10 right now. I'll back up everything, but I don't need to back up this first one. Takuya, you guys already talked about it.
Let's go.
Yeah,
Taki.
it's the same. He's just yeah, Taki. Yeah, he's just on a different planet. It's funny because when I stand next to him, I'm like, wow, like I remember what that feels like. Like I remember what that feels like to just stand there and be like on many, many levels above everybody else and just know it too.
That's sick.
And I know how he feels. He is a little cocky, but he can be because nobody is on his level. 2, Mahdi. I have Mahdi at number 2. He has such a good track record, and after all these years of playing, he still plays harder than most people. Like he still cares a lot and plays a lot. It's his number one thing to do. He works, but he plays Kendama way more than probably almost everyone you know. I promise you. And he's a really good competitor. He always has been. He's been strong for years, and he's placed in KDBC 4 times, Catch and Flow once. He just won this competition this past weekend. Pop Swag. It was pretty intense. It was epic. He was huge there. So I have him at number 2. I just think he's really in the game right now. He's really active and he's really pushing it. And he always has been. I'm gonna say for number 3, Tiblex, because even though he hasn't been active and Tiblex will get surpassed, like he will, because I know his path is different too. Like he's trying to become a surgeon. He's not as active at the Kendama right now. He's taking interest in different things, but his raw skill, I know he hasn't competed in mostly anything. He's won Romanian competitions, which fair enough. I mean, he's the best there, you know. I just don't think, or wait, what was I going to say? Yeah, I just think his skill level is way higher than a lot of other people's. So we just can't forget about how far he's actually come in Kendama already. So I just think his raw skill above everybody else gets him at number 3 still. And he won't be number 3 forever in my head. He'll continue to go down if he doesn't, if he continues with his frequency of play. And that's no disrespect. That's just what's going to happen. Like it just happens to everybody. He's still one of the best to ever play the game, though. So you can't really take that away from him. Number 4, I'm questioning this right now. I'm just gonna go with Yasu. I'm gonna go with Yasu. I used to be like, where is Yasu even top 10? Well, after Catch and Flow, yeah, you can't argue that he has to be in top 10. And more so, it's like he's won World Cup, he's won Catch and Flow twice. Twice. He's gotten second at Catch and Flow, I think twice. One time online, one time and in person, like this past couple of years. These are some of the highest stakes comps. He's done really good at them. He can do a lot of tricks. He's clearly pursuing a different path right now with his life. He's a young kid, but he's already going on his own path, a misunderstood path by some people. He's doing more freestyle, dancing, singing, even
rapping. Yeah.
He's rapping a bit.
Yeah, he's way better at Kendama than rapping, I gotta say.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Anyway, give him time
for now.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah.
Anyway, no, but he still delivers though. That's the thing, right? Like you see him in person, you see him go crazy, and it's like, whoa, he's delivering under the highest pressure, high stakes. So it's like, how can you not put him up there? And he just has a good track record. It's just good for me. For me, it's like that's what I'm factoring in. Number 5, I have Ryoga. Ryoga, we already talked about this kid. We already know this guy's the future, and I'll actually just. Somebody asked me, do you think Ryoga's the next Takuya? Yeah, of course I do.
Yeah.
Of course. That was one of the Instagram questions. We all know it. We all know he's the second coming of Takuya, and he's probably gonna be better than him. I'll say that right now. Like he'll be doing stuff Takuya can't do. I mean, look at him play. He already looks clean. He looks cleaner than Takuya playing, and that says a lot because Takuya
Dude, that's something that I noticed at the event with Takuya and Ryoga there. I never would have, like, if I want to go watch somebody, it's going to be Takuya, especially in Japan, But then, like, the way that Ryoga is playing, I'm thinking, like, Ryoga's kind of more fun to watch, and the tricks he's doing is, like, I couldn't believe I was thinking this, But, yeah, exactly, dude.
Yeah, no, I agree. His flips and taps are cleaner than Takuya's. Takuya can save a lot of things. He's really good at saving stuff, but anyway, Takuya's still a lot better, but give Ryoga time, right? He's he's literally an elementary schooler. He's not even in middle school yet. So
yeah.
6, this is where it gets a little tough. I'm honestly just gonna say Maharu. Maharu for me has always been like, well, this guy's really good, but is he better? Is he top 10? But you can't really. But I mean, he plays more than most people. I know he cares more, and he's placing, and he's beating hard people. He's just playing. The only reason you haven't seen him win a lot of stuff is because he's playing the best players in the world. They're all in Japan. So he's won. He can definitely win things, and I'm not going to say he's never won anything before because he has, and he's placed. He's great. He got second at KWC this year. That's pretty amazing. I just know that in the future he's not going to slow down. He's still a young kid, and he plays a lot more than everybody right now. I know he does. So that's a really good pickup, by the way, Isaac, for Lotus. Huge pickup, huge,
massive.
Because there's not really many free agents who are running around in Japan who are that good. So when he dropped Kendama, that was a really good pickup.
Yeah.
So these guys are all Japanese. Well, Tiblix is Romanian, but yeah, Maharu, I just can see him improving a lot from now on as well for years. 7, 8, 7 and 8. This is tough. I mean, so I have Alex, at 7. I have Alex, and don't get me wrong, like Alex is a huge player. I mean, he can do. Alex is crazy well rounded. I mean, he can do everything too. I just think the players in front of him are either better based around a general skill level, or are just going to become better than him in the future. And it won't take that long, just because they're playing a lot more than Alex. Alex is an incredible force in America, and he wins comps a lot. His skill level is higher than everybody's in America. But yeah, it's just like at the end of the day, it's like you got to factor in age, you got to factor in drive, and these kids have it. All the people I listed before, so I think they're just going to perform at a higher level, at higher stakes, more frequently from here on out than everybody else below. So yeah, I mean, Alex, obviously we're still discussing top 10. Alex is definitely still a great player, right? 8 for potential. I mean, for potential reasons, I have Edwin. I actually had Shinnosuke here, but I forgot about Edwin. Edwin hasn't, I mean, he hasn't won a ton of comps yet. This is kind of weird that, like, I really don't know what to say. I just know he's playing a lot more than everybody else and cares a lot more. So you never know where it could go. Like I said, I'm taking into top 10. I'm taking into account how much people are playing right now and how much they care. Because that's clearly why I have myself at the very bottom here. I'm not saying I just know that everybody else is playing a lot more than me right now. I know that for a fact. And so Edwin, yeah, he's doing great things with his left hand. He's pretty much unstoppable with his left hand. It's kind of just astonishing what he can do. And he's a great player in general. He's a good competitor, and he's good with his right hand. Next one I have me, just because I know there's other random Japanese players out there coming up, but they haven't seemed to win anything yet or kind of make a name for themselves. In the US, I don't really see any people playing. Like, everyone's getting older in the US. There's just so many kids in Japan. There's so much potential, right? So I'm still going to keep myself in the top 10 for now. I definitely am excited to see who comes up in the next several years. But yeah, and then there's number 10. This was tough for me. I really couldn't think of a 10 either, Zach, but I ended up picking I actually just picked 2 players. I was like, either because he's still like, right, like if you look from my perspective, he's like also not playing as much, but he still has like a relevant skill, like to the point where, like, oh, you can't really say this guy's better than because So's just done all this, and also, like, he's still just better than you probably right now. But it's also I have you and So tied at number 10 because it's the same thing. I just, like, even if you don't think like, wow, these players are really good, but I don't know if they're like super outstanding, well, they're still better than almost every single player in the world. Like, you just can't forget about that. It's like, well, are they really outstanding right now? Well, even if they're like not, whoa, mind-blowing world record-breaking people, I don't know what to say, but, like, you know what I mean? Like, that high skill, it's like, you wouldn't, even if you're not thinking that, like, initially, they're still better and more consistent than probably anybody you're thinking about. So that's why I have So and Zack at number 10. I really couldn't choose. I couldn't really decide between the 2 either. It's tough. I don't really know So what he does on a daily basis. I know he doesn't play that much. I know Zack plays less than he used to. Zack's still a crazy player, though, obviously. One of the best. And then, so that was my top 10. I know it's definitely an interesting take. Like I said, some players might not be better than the others in the list right now overall, but I just see the potential. I see how much people care. I see who's placing, who's rising up to the occasion, pretty much. It's like, if you're that insane in person, and if you're that insane under pressure in comps, that tells me way more than any trick you do on Instagram. I don't really care about tricks on Instagram. to be honest with you. There are so many insane players that can do so many things that nobody else can do. And it's not just these pros. Like, no, these random people are doing this specific genre of tricks that you'll never touch and you'll never ever get as good as them. But everybody has that, right? But it's like, what happens when you do a competition? What happens when you play in person? What happens when, you're under that pressure, under the high stakes? Can you rise up? And these people up in the top list, like 1 through 6, are people who rise up. And I mean, Tiblix gets a special pass because he's just that good. I mean, that's and I like I said, he will get surpassed. He will. But it's just like that's why he's just that good right now. And even if he hasn't been playing. So yeah.
Dude, we have like the exact same. All of us have the exact same names, which is crazy.
Yeah, which is I mean, yeah, it seems.
I want to give an honorable mention though to Shinnosuke. Shinnosuke,
same here.
Like he's definitely. I'll definitely give him an honorable mention because he was in my top 10, and then I was like, Edwin's probably better overall if I had to pick between the two. Clearly, Shinnosuke does better in comp and probably can play a lot better than Edwin in comp. I know that's it might sound weird because Edwin's really good, but I mean, I don't know.
For sure.
I've seen a new standard set here in Japan, so I'm sorry. Like people just like crush it here. Yeah, and I'll also just give a top 3 for girls real quick. I wrote this down. Just to get on there. I have number 1, Nonoka.
I think insane, dude.
Overall, I think she's best overall. She's best in competition. That's a huge part, by the way, of why she's number 1. She's clearly better than every single person, every other girl at competition, and she can rise to the highest stakes, right? She's been playing Kendama for 15 years, and she's done the JK method. She's quit that. Won competitions there. She quit that and rose up to KDBC. She's gotten like, I don't know, 8th before. She's made finals a couple times, made catch and flow finals. She beat Kaito this year.
That was sick.
He's a crazy good, crazy consistent player. So she's number 1. Number 2, I actually have Noah from Seoul. She is crazy.
She's really
crazy, good. And she's really good at competition. She's not as good as Nonoka, but Noah has also been playing for many, many, many years. And man, she is so good, like at competition.
I remember seeing at KWC, was really impressed.
And just playing. And that KWC run she was really disappointed. Like I could tell she had a lot more. But she still won, for the girls division, right? And I've seen her play in person too. Like she comes to the place I work at sometimes, a couple times per year. And dude, it's just crazy to have someone that good. Like I never thought she was going to be this great at Kendama, but she's risen up and she still cares a lot about it, despite all the other things she's doing. She's incredible. And then third, I have Ching Young. I mean,
dude, she's insane. I forgot about her.
Yeah, she doesn't. So she's not bad at competition, but she's not as good as Nonoka or Noah. And so those two are more consistent than her. But Ching Yang, holy shit! I mean, she's got the craziest taps and the craziest gunslingers out of every girl to ever play the game. She is nuts, dude. Yeah. So check her out. She's from China. My bad, Hong Kong. Yeah. Check her out on Instagram, Ching Yang. We'll probably put that in the description notes. Just get the spelling right and for people that know what to look up. But yeah, man, those are the top 3 for girls that I have. Obviously other good girls out there, but like Rin should be from Seoul. She's good at filming. She's a really good player, but I just think these other players are a higher skill level and more consistent. So I think that's where it really counts. Consistency.
Nice.
That was it.
One thing I'll say is I know, like, thinking about top 10 lists is like taking into consideration everything right now. Like it's hard not to, based off what we know about each player and obviously how long, the histories of each player and how everybody's accomplished, all the stuff. Isaac, what you said about, do you know if you can do this trick or not, just based on what they're posting, versus based on what they're doing in person, all that. I think hearing your guys' list and actually provided clarity for me, just to kind of like verbalize how I made this list. I made this list based on the fact that if players were honed right now and they like played it tomorrow, I think my list would look how it is based off right now. Because if Nick dude, like I'm taking Maharu. Honestly, I'd probably take Maharu over Nick right now, or like Ryoga for sure, like in person. Like that's kind of what I'm saying.
If we were honed,
like in person right now,
if we were honed,
well,
all right. If we were
I'm not talking about like the best version of you. I'm not talking about the
Oh, you
best,
are?
like
Okay. Okay.
I'm not talking about the best, like, oh my god, best version. Because dude, if
Wait,
that was
why,
a,
Nick?
that
What were you gonna say?
if that was the case, like yeah, if that was the case, I'd have Nick at like 3. You know, like
Oh,
I'd have
okay.
Nick at like 3. But like,
Yeah,
but I'm
I was
talking
just gonna
about
say, like, if we were honed, like, I like that. I actually like how you ranked your top 10. Like, based on if you were to go out and everyone
yeah,
was
because I don't
honed,
care. Because like I'm talking
you watch
about
them
10
play.
top 10
That's what
right
I'm thinking.
now. I'm talking about top 10 literally at this moment right now. Like that's what
Yeah.
I was kind of thinking of. So I was just like, so like if I go out tomorrow and like I fucking see all these 10 players here, like I believe based on what I've seen recently that gives me information to this point that like Ryoga would be fucking snapping on like all these guys pretty
Yeah.
much except for like 3 people. Maharu would be crushing too. Like that kid's crazy. Like, you know, like I mean Yasu probably based off that actually Yasu might be higher, but I think what kind of distracts me about Yasu is the fact that he's an entertainer. So like I think of him like it's hard
Yeah,
for
yeah,
that actually brings me away from how skilled he is like just in the raw, you know? So I don't know,
yeah.
maybe I have to
Suck,
revise
yeah.
that. But actually I don't know. I'm confident with my
All right.
list, but maybe a couple revisions. But that's kind of
I
how
was
I'm
gonna
doing
say
it.
when you were like, if we're all gonna go honed, I think I would definitely still outdo Maharu if we were all honed, you know. But
Yeah,
that's just
yeah.
personally me. But I know Maharu is playing a lot more than me. He cares right now. So yeah,
Yeah.
no,
He's really
he's
motivated right now too.
super crazy. Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's super interesting that we all have the same players.
No, yeah, and I definitely know we did our top 10 differently a little bit. Like mine is
Yeah.
kind of considering the future and what's going to happen,
Yeah.
and just kind of considering people's intensity and my own. So anyway, Zach was a little different. Isaac was a little different.
Yeah.
But either way, that's just our takes. So
And what
Yeah.
Nick was Isaac, were you like hearing everything we were saying kind of when you were in the bathroom?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So like what Nick was saying too, like when you asked me about like what I think about myself, like I was kind of trying to allude to that too, kind of what Nick said about himself. Like I know for a fact, like I know, like I think it would just be like, yeah, just kind of like weird of me to say that I'm kind of in this space with these players because I know the potential that's coming and it kind of like I know the
Yeah.
frequency. I know
Yeah.
myself right now. Like I don't feel like I know how I felt about myself, like over half a year ago, like from January to March when I was really like honing in as much as I kind of could. I knew how I felt about myself then versus how I felt about now. And based off those two things and kind of how the state of Kendama is, like I know, like based off like what Nick said, like I'm focusing on different things now. So that's kind of where I was coming from there. If I didn't make that clear earlier, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And I guess for me, it's different because I just see everyone basically how they are now, kind of, because I'm judging a few players of what I've seen like more recently, or just maybe in the past year, like maybe you
hmm
guys, like I'm judging a lot of Nick based off of like his 28 tricks later last year, or like his story tricks from a few years ago, you know?
yeah, yeah,
So, and then,
yeah. Another good
yeah,
take. Yeah. That's good.
yeah,
We can make another top 10 video sometime about like I don't know how we'd do it more like we'd all consider like overall all time. I don't know what you mean. But I feel like that's more the where it's going.
yeah. I guess
You can do it a different way. But
there's
yeah,
a
anyway.
special, like, there's a special thing about Bonds, special thing about Stad, special thing about a lot of players, Benji, for example.
I'll
Just
put in
these
Bryson there. Bryson, you cannot be better.
Bryson, yeah, like they're they don't match up now, but back in
But
the day, how far ahead were they? You know, like
yeah,
who the goats? Like Tiger Woods can't match up now, but he's the goat of golf, right? Like Michael
exactly.
Jordan, he can't match up now, but he's the goat of basketball. It's like those types of things.
yeah, like
Right.
special players, like yeah, exactly, like Bond, Stott, like Fish. These players that were
Fish,
like in a league of their
yeah,
own, yeah, back in
yeah. Like
at their respective like quote unquote prime times, yeah,
how
yeah.
far
Yeah,
ahead
we can
of
do another
everyone were they?
what?
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. How far ahead everybody was, like at that specific moment? Like how far ahead you were, Nick, in 2018 compared to everybody. How far? Yeah, Takuya was whatever. Blah blah blah.
I mean, in certain tricks, right? Like I look at my 2018 self and I'm like, God damn, like that like for a specific example, like stilts. I mean, what I was doing back then, I'm like, whoa, that was years ahead because now I'm just seeing because people you can kind of judge it, right? Like all these top players have been copying my tricks, or no, I don't want to say copying, but I've been inspired and wanted to do
For
the tricks I
sure.
right now that and it's awesome. It gets actually me super stoked. It gets me
Yeah.
super stoked to see like top players like Tiblex has done a multiple of my tricks.
Yeah.
Takuya has done multiple of my tricks. Like other Kendama players on the come up have done multiple of my tricks. It's just really cool. It's like, oh, these guys are doing it now, and like they're some of the best right now. It's like, whoa, they really looked up to that for inspiration, and I did that a couple years ago. It's like, oh, okay, I guess that was that kind of shows like how far in advance it was. But
Yeah.
I mean yeah, and it also you can kind of just see like Bryson 2016 was so far ahead of everybody else, and even when he was like, even when like in 2018 when he wasn't playing, he was playing a lot of Fortnite and he wasn't playing Kendama. He still went to World Cup and got top 10, and so you see like okay, he was definitely that skill level definitely helped him, maintain top 10 presence at KDBC for a couple extra years, right? So yeah, it's pretty incredible.
Do you think
But
we
we can
should? Do you think we should switch up Open Division because these battle tricks, uh, it's like the same tricks, like
they're the
NAKO
same.
two,
Yeah.
and I want to. It's like okay, I can practice a lot, but Zach's been doing barrel both ways, lunar, for like so much longer than me. If I play Zach, even if I hit a million lunar barrel, like in this next month, dude, that was probably an open division trick like 8, 7 years ago, And this is
That's
completely off
It
topic,
wasn't,
but
but I know what you're saying. Yeah, like double lunar
it
tray has been a
wasn't?
trick for like 4 years.
Okay. No. Barrel, like a lunar barrel, and then the other way. That's
no
Oh
way.
no,
That was
yeah. I think that's been one. Yeah.
it's been one.
yeah,
Oh, in the past, yeah, for sure. Like
in
a
the
couple
past.
years ago.
Okay, yeah, I don't know, but why don't we? Okay, for a while it was getting harder and harder, for sure. Like I remember one NAKO like 3 years ago. It was like, okay, these are a lot harder. But since then, I feel like it's been easier or the same the last 2 years, and it's kind of annoying because why aren't we pushing it?
Yeah. Well, here's what I'll say about that. I think the reason why it's the same is because the people who are filming the tricks, they're not actually
Yeah,
good enough to
yeah,
set
maybe.
progressive tricks. I actually think that because if it wasn't the case, then I mean it's easy to ask other people to film tricks. It's really easy. You just ask them, "Hey, can you film some open tricks?" Or just like actually like players who are better than you. Like who are players like
Yeah,
if those were if I don't know, dude. Like if these players in this top 10 list all made like, all right, guys, brainstorm 20 tricks for NAKO for 2024, dude, they'd be fucked, and it would just be
yeah,
like they'd be crazy, or like an open competition in Japan, like they'd be nut like tricks that are insane. But meanwhile, we have players here who are setting tricks for open who aren't at that level. They're not even actually
yeah.
they're not even top level players in the slightest, which they're still decent, they're still difficult open tricks. And I guess too, this is something to take into consideration. If they're too hard, then they might never be hit. And I actually do think that, even though practice will cover that, I do think that I think it just kind of depends on the fact that, do you want to match consistent? It's like the perfect balance between
Yeah,
consistency and difficulty, because you could set a triple lunar tray for an open trick, but like I don't know, like is that
yeah,
really what's the challenge? Like what's the challenge there? Like if someone hits it, that's pretty much a guaranteed point. Whereas meanwhile, about the border trick list, which is actually, some people, I saw a comment. Some people are like, "Oh, it's always the hardest open trick list." I actually think it's like debatably the easiest open trick list in relative to its size of competition. It's always like kind of like the easiest open trick list in
yeah.
terms
It's
of
open.
specific trick difficulty, but that could add another factor of difficulty to the comp, because if all these tricks are so in difficulty wise, the real challenge is going to be how consistent you can be. To whereas if you mess up, you're like, oh, like the stakes could be that high, to where if you mess up, you're like, damn it, like they're gonna get a point, because this should be a trick I hit like with my eyes closed.
I
I
kind of
think
like
Battle of
that
the Border,
actually.
yeah,
I like now that I think about it, it's like we kind of need that in Kendama where there's freestyle, there's KDC, which are the craziest bangers, and then there's like how consistent can you be at easy tricks? So
yep,
it
Yeah,
was a switch up for sure because for a while it was like how consistent can you be at these like crazy hard tricks, but now not crazy hard, but just like decently hard. But now it's kind of like okay, how many tricks can you match in a row? So yeah, okay, that's fair.
I think I just want to comment. I don't know you guys. I was in the bathroom for a second, but I just want to comment. I think there's definitely merit to making harder tricks for open division. As long as you set a list, dude, people are gonna do the list. Like
Yeah,
people, and whoever slacks, well, that's your fault. I mean,
yeah,
the people who are gonna rise to the occasion are gonna rise. And like, dude, as long as you set a standard, people are gonna want to try that. Like, dude, 2020 online NAKO had super hard tricks. I think, right, Zach? I mean, there was double lunar tray for the first time.
right.
2020.
Yeah, I think those are hard tricks.
Yeah, those were really difficult. And I remember even in 2018, a Neko trick was like dub sling, jug, dub, Ken spike.
Yeah, and it's
Right.
like, whoa, these are kind of getting tough, but it's like those are still going to be hit by the best players because they want to
Yeah.
win, and
Yeah.
it's just kind of like makes you think, right? Like, well, like, okay, this is the standard that we're trying to hit. Okay, we have to try, and then you see people do that on stage. It's like, whoa, that's exactly the same thing happening with Ryoga watching Takuya like people. They like
Yeah.
just Takuya is setting the standard right now. He's setting all the standards for certain tricks, and other people are looking at it like, okay, that's next. Like that's next. Like that's actually
Yeah.
possible. It's within the realm of Kendama. Like let's get there. And it's just like the same thing with setting tricks for open. It's like, oh, okay, that's really hard, but I guess we just gotta get consistent at it. And I think there's a lot of room on the table for people like untapping their potential with that, because as long as there's some crazy stuff to strive for, people will do it. They
Yeah.
really will. So but I think there's merit to both. So there should be different competitions like, hey guys, we're gonna do easier tricks for this one and make that clear. Or it might just be a thing with BATB because they're always super easy compared to other
Yeah.
ones. But yeah, I think there's merit to both because right, you want to be seeing tricks hitting all the time, like super consistent ones, like easy ones, because people mess up. You know, it's competition. People shake. People mess up. There's merit to both. I feel like, yeah.
And strictly from an entertainment aspect, like a spectator perspective, no spectator wants to watch like people go for like triple inner tray in an open division and just miss it literally 85% of the time. Like that's just not fun to
But
watch. Which
if
I
it's
mean,
top eight, if it's top eight, then those players should be having it though. They should all have a chance if they cared that much. You know,
Yeah, for sure.
there's a
Triple
chance they
inner,
could
yeah.
all miss it, but like that happens, right? That happens with every trick. Um, you know what I mean? There's
yeah,
just
there's just a couple of perspectives to look at it from for sure.
yeah, yeah, guys. Well, I think you guys want to call it here, or
We have 30 minutes, guys. It's only been 2.5 hours.
that's true. That's true. I kind of want to. I kind of
Go.
want to take care of. Yeah.
Do we have
Kinda
any more
wanna
It's a
take
good
care
place
of
to call
questions?
it.
Do we have any
I
more
need a. I
questions?
need a. Well, guys, I have. Oh yeah, IG questions.
You're
I don't
welcome.
have any more on my end. I don't have any
No,
more on
yeah,
my
we
end.
kind of answered most of them already.
Yeah.
Well, I will say one last thing. Opinions on judging system and what can be improved. I know that sounds like a huge question to answer, but for catch and flow, if you just want to take it, I have a good short answer for that. It's
Let's hear it.
opinion on judging system and what can be improved. Well, I don't know if the specific judging system is going to be changed. That's not up to me, but I will say it's going to be improved when players move to be judges, right? Like you see So he's a competitor. He hasn't won catch flow yet, so he wants to win it, and that's why he hasn't become a judge. But I've heard him say himself, he's ready to be a judge. You know, he's
Oh,
ready
cool.
to take the
Cool.
position.
Yeah.
And with younger players who are at the top of their game at one point, they understand the current Kendama, the current Kendama, right? Whereas these other judges, I mean, this year there was more modern judges, I guess, with Rod and Chad, but even those two, like, it's not like they're like good enough to understand what's kind of going on up there. You know what I mean? They know better than older Japanese guys, but they've never been like the top players for a long time. They don't really know how to do the top level tricks, so they don't know what's happening. There's no shade to either of those two, but you know what I'm saying, right? When the judges get updated, the more they get updated, it's a level up. Like the fact that Chad and Rod were judges here, it was probably a level up compared to other years just because they're more current, right? And it just
Who would be
I
your
think that-
favorite judges, Nick? Who would be not of anybody, but just like of who's recently judged? Who would you pick?
wait,
Wait, are you asking him just out of anybody or just out of the recent judges?
No, out of the recent judges.
I don't know that.
Well, they've kind of been the same.
Yeah, they've been the same.
I
Like
mean,
everyone
we had like Rolf at EKC,
was
Chad,
weird.
Rod.
Yeah, Rolf at EKC was weird, but
Yeah.
everybody
Okay.
was fun.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like more people who are really into the game, like becoming judges, like that's when it's going to become
Yeah.
like that's when
Yeah,
it's going to
yeah,
get judge system improves. I think because they just know more about Kendama.
Like when
they
Ben
also-
Harold turned to be a judge, I thought that was a level up because he actually thought he went to a judge. Like that leveled it up. That leveled it up for sure. Because now it was like, oh shit, this guy actually knows. This guy definitely knows what he's talking about. You know, he actually
I
stepped
feel
into
like
that
Chad's
judging
like that
position
too.
early.
I feel like Chad and Ben Harold. Those
Yeah.
are I can't think of it people because I feel like Chad watches a lot and he knows.
No, 100%. I'm not like shitting on Chad or Rod. I know it might have sounded like that, but I just think well, if people want to see like the judge system like actually change, I just feel like, dude, in the
Yeah.
next 5 to 10 years, like, dude, all those judges are going to be different. and they're all going to be younger kids, not kids, but younger adults. Like, hey, we're judging literal 14-year-olds now because all the best players are in middle school,
Yeah.
and we're old men who are 24 and 25.
Yeah.
You know, it might turn out to be like that. It might not, but in my opinion, it's like if you get the world's best players at some point in time to be judges, that's when it's going to be next level.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, for sure.
But everybody wants to compete right now, and I get that.
I know. Yeah.
And like, and
Yeah.
if I end up becoming a judge someday, sure,
That'd be
I just
sick.
although freestyle judging is so hard,
That'd be such a it's such a tough position, dude. Yeah.
Really tough.
it is because you're signing up to be hated because there's gonna be somebody not agreeing with your call, and you have to embrace that.
It's a referee. Nobody likes referees, man, unless you
100%.
win.
Yeah, exactly. So that was like the last question I had from my Instagram questions that we haven't answered. Guys, I think this is a good place to close it out. It's been over 2 hours.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Sorry. If you guys want to keep chatting, you can. I'm gonna probably go.
No, I need to get out of here. Get me out of here.
Get me out of here.
No, this has been a great. I feel like we went deep. Like I'm happy with this, guys, and obviously Isaac. Like knowing us three in the same, like we could talk about Kendama for a long time. Like we could go for hours, hours longer than this. But let's leave it at that. And then I mean, Isaac, I'm sure we'll have you on again, like relatively soon. I'm talking about a completely different topic, or something. So
yeah, I'm done anytime.
Yeah, and the one thing I'd actually love to get into with you next time is like the story of how you started Lotus and that. Have you ever told your story?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, it's I just wanted I can do a really short answer, just basically making better shapes with cooler designs.
Okay. Well, I want to hear a more in-depth story. Yeah, I want to hear more like the path and how it is. Anyways, but yeah. All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for listening. Isaac, thank you so much for joining us here and taking the time to be with us.
That was the best. Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah, guys. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. We went deep, and see you in the next one. Peace, guys.
See ya.